Okay. Yeah, find out what I want to keep here. I need to mute TV. That's a given. Can't watch South Park. Can't watch House. Watch that later on. Seen that. Maybe that'll work. Maybe some public domain. Try to find something. Yeah, I know I can watch this. Good ass movie right here. If that wants to. Maybe it would just be quicker to download it. And then play it in VLC player. That'll work. Anyway, how you doing, Mr. No Dad? Might as well get something good playing tonight. I wish I could play some Drawn Together. Can't though. One thing I really wish I could fucking play. Well, maybe I can play it on here. I mean, yeah. Alfred, yeah. I guess that's the same thing. I'll wait for this. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I don't need that. I'll just, yeah, I'll play that. There we go. Something good and something in the public domain. Something I can't be fucked with. There we go. Yeah, I'm doing alright myself. Glad you're doing alright. Ah, God, let's see.
The ghosts are moving tonight, restless, hungry. May I introduce myself? I'm Watson Pritchard. In just a minute, I'll show you the only really haunted house in the world. Since it was built a century ago, 7 people, including my brother, have been murdered in it. Since then, I've owned the house. I've only spent one night there, and when they found me in the morning, I was almost dead.
I'm Frederick Lawrence, and I've rented the house on Haunted Hill tonight so that my wife can give a party. A haunted house party. She's so amusing.
It's House on Haunted Hill.
And perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
It's a classic-ass
If any of you
movie.
will spend the next 12 hours in this house, I'll give you each $10,000. Or your next of kin in case you don't survive. Ah, but here come our other guests. It was my wife's idea to have our guests come in funeral cars.
Hey, sweet.
She's so amusing.
How you doing
Her sense
tonight,
of humor
dude?
is, shall we say, original. I dreamed of the hearse. It's empty now, but after a night in the house on Haunted Hill, who knows?
Yeah, you've never
This
heard
is
of
Lance
it?
Schroeder, a test pilot.
Well, it is
Without a brave man.
1959,
Don't you
so
think you can
it's
be much
pretty
braver than you
old.
paid for it? And I happen to know that Lance needs the $10,000 I'll give him.
It would have to be. It'd be in
He's brave
public
enough to stay
domain.
all night. This is Ruth Bridges. You've no doubt read her column in the newspapers. She says her reason for coming to the party is to write a feature article on ghosts. She's
No,
also
you're
desperate
alright.
for
That's
money.
good. Glad you're doing good.
You've already met Watson Pritchard, a man living in mortal fear of a house, and yet he is risking his life to spend another night here. I wonder why.
Oh,
It is
shit.
for money.
I'm guessing that
This Dr. David
is.
Trent, a psychiatrist. He claims that my ghost will help his work on hysteria. But don't you see a little touch of greed there? Around the mouth and eyes?
I don't get my Indonesian
This is
translator
Nora
up.
Manning. I picked her from the thousands of people who work for me because she needed the 10,000 more than
I
most.
guess that's
That's
Zen.
her whole family. Isn't she pretty? The party's starting now, and you have until midnight to find the house on Haunted Hill.
Let's see what this says. That's good.
Well, where is everybody?
It isn't a very warm welcome, is it?
Only the ghosts in this house are glad we're here.
Are we all strangers to each other? Don't you two know each other?
I'm afraid I don't even know your name.
I'm Nora Manning.
Lance Schroeder.
Is Frederick Lauren a friend of yours?
I've heard of him, but I've never met him.
I work for one of his companies, but I've never seen him.
I've never met the man either. Just a phone call. Do you know him?
Yeah.
Then you're the
Yeah.
only one of us who does.
I don't know him. All the details about running the house were done by mail.
He's quite wealthy, isn't he?
Millions.
And 5 wives, I believe.
4, I think, so far.
$50,000 party for only 5 people is a little steep, even for a millionaire. Well, if I'm going to haunt anybody, this would certainly be the house I'd do it in.
But yeah, I should learn some Indonesian. I probably should. At this point, it might be learning Indonesian might be worth it.
Solid steel.
Yeah, I don't know if I've showed him this before. He probably hasn't seen this one. But yeah, this is. That's.
Annabelle, our guests are here and fortunately still alive. Is your face on yet?
Yeah. So hopefully he likes the look of this.
Couldn't you have had the place clean?
Atmosphere, darling. You know how ghosts are. They never tidy up. And that's a very fetching outfit, but hardly suitable for a party.
I'm not going to the party.
The spend the night ghost party was your idea, remember? Since it's going to cost me
Looks
$50,000,
nice.
I want you to have fun.
The party was my idea until you decided on the guest.
Yeah, you lucky can't
Well,
wait.
the stranger, none of our
Heard in the chat.
Friends.
Probably
Yeah,
am pretty
friends.
lucky.
No, your jealousy took care of that.
But I don't know how that
Each guest, I wanted kind of a cross-section.
how that
From
language
psychiatrist to
looks.
typist, and from drunk to jet pilot. They share one thing. They all need money. Now let's see if they're brave enough to earn it.
And you call this a party?
Could be.
Why do you always do that? It spoils the champagne.
It might explode.
Never does.
Will you guarantee that?
That isn't funny, Frederick.
Make a good headline. Playboy kills wife with champagne cork. Will you join me?
No, thank you.
Just a sip. Might improve your humor.
My humor is fine, thanks.
Oh,
And I
is
had
it the
it for
same
you.
letters? It's Persian.
Oh,
I don't know
not
shit
bad.
about Persian. I don't know shit about no damn languages.
You'll enjoy the party more. Go on.
But of course, my knowledge of other languages is pathetic anyway.
And I'm not going to the party,
Don't need that one. It's
All
too
my
short.
wives were the least agreeable.
but still alive.
I know Japanese. Yeah,
Go
I
away,
barely
$50
know
next
Japanese. And my
Oh, don't you?
concept of Japanese or my understanding is just pathetic.
Sentiment is maddening.
Never a man have grounds for divorce.
I can't prove them.
The time will come.
So I don't know.
You'll slip up one of these days.
I don't really.
If I live long enough. You
I
remember
don't
the fun
consider
we
that
had
an
before you-
understanding myself. But.
Something you ate, the doctor said.
Yes, arsenic on the rocks. Annabelle, you'd do it again if you thought you could get away with it, wouldn't you?
Darling, what makes you think that?
Ah,
Something
okay.
about you. The hanging is very uncomfortable, in case you get any more ideas. But don't let the ghosts and the ghouls disturb you.
Darling, the only ghoul in the house is you.
Don't sit up all night thinking of ways to get rid of me. It makes wrinkles.
This is what she used on my brother and her sister. Hacked them to pieces. We found parts of the bodies all over the house, in places you wouldn't think. Funny thing is, the heads have never been found. Hands and feet, things like that. No heads.
The wife probably
Yeah,
arranged
I finally
breakfast.
started.
I
Yeah,
did.
I finally
Everybody
started
here took a
Sly
swing at it,
Cooper.
went on from there. She suddenly went on. How
Took
many
fucking
people
long enough to get your shit
Only two.
working,
Her husband and her sister. No one else was here.
So there are loose heads just floating around?
but
You can hear them at night.
what I think so far,
Since our host isn't here, would anyone care to have a
it's
drink?
okay.
Certainly. What will you have?
So far, I mean, the first world I'm kind of familiar with. I played that before, so it was just doing that again more than anything.
I advise you to call this party off now.
But it's a
Ghosts are
good
already
game.
moving
It's
us
just
a bad
so
sign.
far it's
Let
pretty
me
simple.
apologize for my wife's
It's the only thing I
Got to have
forgot about it was
I
that
understand.
how
Now, before
simple the
party
game
begins,
is.
Let's go over the details. The caretakers will leave at
But,
midnight,
fuck.
locking us in here until
Kanji.
6 in the morning.
Something
Once the door is
something
locked, there's no way out.
washi
We won't have bars,
mashi
the jail would be crowded,
daka
and the only door to the outside
mash
locks like a vault.
daka mash
There's no
daka
electricity, no phone, no one within
mash
miles,
daka.
so
What?
no way to call for help.
Yeah, but
Like a coffin.
it's Shima. Yeah, Shima
So if any of you decide not to stay for the
Shitaka.
party, you must let me know before midnight. Of course, if you leave, I shan't be
It's a
able to see you.
question.
I'm interested in your
That much I know. It's a question.
aside from pleasant company.
I think everyone wonders what they would do if
Hold
they
on.
saw a ghost.
Let me.
And now my wife has given us all the opportunity to find out.
Music, ghosts, etc. Being only creation of
Let me
the
do
spirit,
the
your party should be a
the
success.
Japanesey here.
Richard here promises us genuine ghosts.
7 now. Maybe more before morning.
That's cheerful.
Have I eaten?
4 men have been murdered in this house. And 3 women.
You planned your party very well, Mr. Lawrence. 4 of us are men, 3 are women. A ghost for everybody.
Richard, why don't you take us on a tour through the house and let's see what happens.
No, what?
See that stain? Blood. A young girl was killed here. And whatever got her wasn't human. Don't stand there.
What do you mean? Where?
Put that back
It's
in
too late for
Indonesian.
Ridiculous. The roof probably leaked.
That must be what it is. Who would want to haunt me?
I would say any self-respecting male ghost.
I hope it doesn't come back.
Well, Mr. Pritchard, you're the life of the party.
He hasn't even started yet. Wasn't there a man who threw his wife into a wine vat or something?
That was in the cellar. There's been a murder almost every place
Yeah,
in this house.
yes, Sucker Punch is the most simple game. It seems like it. I mean, I like it. It's fun so far. I'm just hoping it gets a little harder,
All this belonged to a Mr. Norton.
and not
Who
in
didn't die
the
here. He was electrocuted.
and not in the hard way with more of those fucking
Mr. Norton did a good deal of experimenting with wine,
crab-based mini games.
but his wife didn't think it was any good. So he filled the vat with acid and threw her in. She was supposed to stay down. But the bones came up. It's a funny thing. But none of the murders here were just ordinary. Just shooting, stabbing. They've all been sort of wild, violent, different. God, she didn't fall in.
You mean there's still acid in there?
I mean, why wouldn't there be? Yeah, here's my food.
Destroys everything with hair and flesh. Just leaves the bones.
Can it destroy my dignity? What little there is. Oh my God, is Morty hiding in there? Now I want to see I want to see the version of this movie where Morty is hiding inside the vat of acid. That's what I want.
Oh, there's a cure for that upstairs. Come on.
Morty is down there. He just released the rat bones. He's waiting for everybody to leave.
How'd you get invited to this party?
And then he has to wait. They won't leave. Oh, Rick and Morty has ruined me on certain things, I swear.
But he didn't say anything about being locked in.
No.
He just made a deal with me on the phone, but nothing about having to stay.
Aren't you going to stay?
If I don't, I lose $10,000.
Hey.
I'm going to stay too. $10,000.
Yeah. You believe in ghosts?
I don't know.
Well, I agree with what that doc says. You can spook yourself. I've done it in planes. Seen things that weren't really there. Oh, were they? What are you going to do with your $10,000? If we get it?
What do you mean if we get it? Won't he pay us if we stay?
Oh, sure he will. 10,000 is no more to him than a nickel is to us.
We
Damn.
were in an automobile accident. Now I'm the only one in the family who can make any money.
Boy, I've never seen so many doors. Closet? Bottles.
I'll see if I can remember how to do this.
Did it go anywhere? Please, Lance is gone, and there's a ghost. Please,
I mean?
please, come on.
Did she say Lance is gone? Gone where?
We'll have to break it down. It's locked.
Locked? You all right? Nothing that money won't cure. I must have bumped my head. The only way you could bump your head in here is to run head on into the wall. You didn't do that, did you? Let's get a bandage on that.
I wonder why they didn't kill him.
48
He didn't bump his
divided
head.
by...
They hit him.
They?
Hey, Jeannie. Hey, how you doing tonight? I'm doing pretty good myself.
Nora,
Can't
when
complain.
you came in, you said something about a ghost.
There was something.
What did it look like?
Just
It was wearing a black suit. and it went all the
testing
way
out
to
some earlier stream times for one. That's the main thing.
That, Mr. Lauren, is hysteria.
Then, Nora,
But
how do you explain what happened to Lance?
I'm doing all right.
You better get that checked in today, sir. Thanks, Doc.
It's 5 and
Wait for me, Law.
6.
Your ghosts are coming closer, Mr. Lauren.
You really believe in your pet ghost, don't you, Bridget?
Before the night's over, you will, too.
Would you like a drink, Lance?
No, thanks.
I'd like one. Goddamn.
All right, you're doing good. That's good. Glad to hear that.
Are you really
You're making a
really gonna
cardi
stay
for
all night?
yourself. Ooh,
Certainly.
now
$10,000.
that's nice. How's it coming along?
In a hurry, dear?
Frankly, yes. Frankly.
There you are, my dear.
Maybe I should start this on the opposites.
Someone or something was in here when I came in. Where? If the door was locked, how did it get out? What you saw might have been a ghost, Nora, but what was in
Start
there
this
with
on
me
the
was no ghost.
opposite needle,
I
actually.
don't know. I was so scared.
And do that real quick. Oh, it's crocheted. Oh, and the sleeves are knit. Ooh, that sounds pretty cool.
Yes.
Very good. At least you're almost
3,
done with it.
6, 9, 12.
Because that would drive me fucking crazy. But, hey, Epic Demon, how are you doing tonight?
6. I'm gonna knock on the other wall. hear me. You knock on this wall.
Bruh, it's just an old woman on wheels. You don't need to be, it's not that serious.
I saw it again.
It's just an old woman on wheels, get over it.
Where'd it come from?
I'm in here.
You don't need to degrade her like that.
Well, if it ran out of here, I'd have seen it.
Lance, it doesn't run, it just floats.
Yeah, but then why didn't I see it?
We
You
weren't
don't
looking.
believe me.
How can I?
I'm Annabelle Laura. You must be Miss Manning. I realize this is a very unusual and I'm afraid very dull party. Wouldn't you like to freshen up? This is your room. Depressing, isn't it?
And one more.
It's going to rain. Perfect atmosphere for my husband's party. Why did you come here?
He said he'd give me $10,000.
Why did he pick you?
I don't know. My supervisor just came and said I'd been invited.
How long have you been Leslie?
I just met him tonight.
So, why you? What were you doing wandering around by yourself?
Well, I was in the cellar with Lance and Mr. Schroeder. I just left, that's all.
That would work.
Don't do it again.
Make sure I got my math right here. So I want to get at least I want to get up to at least 48 stitches
We all are.
before this. So that's
I hope for your
6.
sake you never find out.
And that's plus 4 each time I increase. It'll be 46.
I'm Annabelle Lauren. Are you looking for something?
Not exactly.
Are you the doctor?
No, I'm not sure.
Neither.
Yeah, that's not bad. 46 will work.
On the head. Which is my room?
I believe this is it.
Thank you, Mrs. Lauren.
Annabelle, man.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Push that down.
You were with a young girl in the cellar. Why was she so upset?
Was she?
And you don't look like the type to go around bumping his head. What really happened, Lance?
Okay.
Well, Nora thought she saw a ghost, but I didn't see anything.
She was just frightened.
Anne mad at me. I think I kidded her about it.
I wouldn't joke about anything else that happened here tonight.
Now, don't tell me you're taking all this seriously.
Aren't you?
Well, I'd like to find out what hit me.
Lance, if I need help, may I count on you?
Sure, I guess so. Look, what's going on here anyway? I mean, what is with this party bit?
This is no party. He's planning something.
Your husband?
I'll tell you what it was.
Must be pretty big if he's going to lay out 50,000.
Money doesn't mean anything. He has a reason for getting us all up here to this dreadful old house.
Well, what for? He doesn't even know us.
Maybe that's exactly why you're here.
What can he get away with?
Oh, he thinks that big money like his can get away with anything. You know, of course, that I'm his fourth wife. First
Oh.
one disappeared. The other two died. Lance.
Taking a
I don't want
risk.
to join him.
You mean he,
Oh, his doctor said they died of heart attacks.
Hmm.
Two girls in their 20s.
well, what can he do?
My husband is sometimes insane with jealousy. Nothing matters to him. Please be careful.
Will he hurt you?
He would kill me if he could.
Who wouldn't? Alright, now I can actually start.
Annabelle, you're missing all the fun. Nora Manning was almost killed by a falling chandelier. The pilot bashed his head in.
Is he badly hurt?
The Saturnine psychiatrist bandaged him up. Don't you want to go and console him? As you do most men, in your fashion.
You're so clever, Frederick.
So
You
I wait nights
slut.
to require marriage. It was rather a mistake.
You didn't marry me, dear. I married you. Unpleasant, but no mistake.
Hurry up.
Frederick, for the last time, I'm not going to your party.
For the last time, it's not my party, but yours. And you are going.
I am not.
You ready?
No.
Are you ready, dear?
Yes, damn you.
But you adore me as much as I will. All you want to be is a lovely widow. It's almost time to lock up the house. Then your party will really begin. I wonder how it'll end.
Poorly.
night, lad. Okay. Be down in a minute.
Who is it?
Your host, my dear. It's almost midnight, Nora. We're all going to get together down in the living room.
All right, Mr. Lloyd. I'll be right down.
Nope. Who's that? Look like a delicious frozen face. Scoop it up with the ice cream scooper. Eat it. I don't know.
Come with us. Come with us before he kills you.
Yeah, that's the way you do it.
Where's Laura? What's the matter?
Don't want to stay here.
Nora, what happened? That's Jonas Slides and his wife. They've been caretakers here for years. She's blind, you know.
I'm not going to stay here.
Doctor, it looks like we have a real case of hysteria on our hands.
I think she's just a little upset, not hysterical.
Good evening.
Hello, my dear. This is my wife. These are our guests. Ruth Bridges, Dr. Trent. You know Watson Bridget, of course. Nora Manning, and this is Lance Schroeder.
Get me out of here.
What about the 10,000?
I don't care. He wants to kill me.
Who wants to kill you?
Mr. Lord.
May I have your attention, please? I think you all remember the bargain we made about staying all night. $10,000 apiece. If any of you don't survive, $50,000 will be divided amongst the rest of you. If I should die, you will be paid by my estate. When the door is locked from the outside by the caretakers, we'll all be forced to stay in this house until morning. If any of you decide not to stay, you must leave with the caretakers now. You won't have a chance to change your minds later, because there'll be no way to get out.
I don't want to stay.
Wait. Isn't midnight yet? Who told them they could leave?
They never leave before midnight.
Well, they've gone now. I was going to ask you whether you wanted to stay or not, but it seems that the caretakers have made the decision for you. We're all locked in now.
But I don't want to stay.
I'm sorry, my dear, but it's too late now.
Darling, haven't you had enough of the silly game? Get some cars up here for these people and let them go home. But pay them first.
This is your party, remember. In spite of my wife's faith in my ability to do the impossible, we will all have to stay in this house until 8 o'clock in the morning. But we have some party favors for you in these little coffins. This is my wife's idea. I must say, I think it's rather dangerous. I suppose you all know how to use one of these things, but in case you don't, you just press down on this lever with your thumb and then pull the trigger.
Oh, like a gun.
These are no good against the dead, only the living.
You don't know the kind of dead we know.
Lance? Nora?
Go ahead, take it.
Miss Bridges? And here's yours, dear.
I don't need it.
It was your idea. Who knows, you may want to use it on me before this night is over.
Throw these guns away. They won't do you any good.
I agree with Bridget on that point, although not for the same reason.
Dr. Trent, don't you approve of our little party favors?
Suppose Nora had had a gun when she mistook the blind woman for a ghost.
I don't think anyone else is going to walk around in total darkness. Oh, I'm sure we're not going to go running around the house shooting each other, aren't you?
Who knows? Fear makes people do amazing things.
Mr. Richard, you said your sister-in-law killed a man and a woman here and cut them up? You said they found hands and feet, but they never found any heads. Would you like to see one of those heads? Would you all like to see one of those heads? Well, just follow me.
Darling, I really don't need this.
Just go look in my suitcase. Just go look.
Why did you bring a head? in your suitcase. It's kind of weird. It's not your average, everyday vacation
A
item.
woman's head.
Nora, I think you're a little upset. Would you care for a sedative?
Ooh.
What have you got here? Leave me alone!
I'll have a sedative.
Here.
Sounds pretty nice.
You think it's all right to leave her by herself, though?
I wish she'd taken the sedative.
What do you suppose she thought she saw?
Who are these party guests just offering free sedatives? Like, holy shit.
People around her. If they wanted her, they'd get her.
What if he's right?
He's too drunk to know what he's talking about.
I wonder. Join you in a minute.
Do you think it would do any good if you went in and talked to her?
Do you think there really was a head in her suitcase?
I don't know.
A thing like that would put me right over the edge.
Well, would you sort of stay up here? I mean, in case she needs help.
All right. I'll be in my room. Just call.
Thanks.
Are you sure there are only 7 people in this house?
Positive. Except for the ghosts.
I don't believe in ghosts. Nor in frightening women. In Nora's case, it's gone far enough. Perhaps too far.
What do you suggest we do about it now?
Don't frighten her anymore.
Why not? Why do you not like frightening women? What's the point of not liking that, of all things? Hitting women, I can understand why you wouldn't like that, but I mean, as weird as that sounds, but why wouldn't you like frightening them?
Nora?
I shouldn't say that.
Nora?
I think Nora done frightened herself somewhere.
Nora! Nora!
Where are...
They've taken her. In a little while, she'll be one of them.
Where's Nora?
Yeah, that'll work.
Where's she? It's too late. It's too late. You'll never find her again.
Richard, if you know where she is, you better tell me now.
She's gone. She's gone with them. There's nothing you can do about it.
What was that? Nora, did you choke again? Well, I mean... in a way.
Breathe it out.
Nora? She's dead, Mr. Lauren. Your wife hanged herself.
Suicide.
Nora, hide me, please, hide me. Hide me. He tried to kill me. He grabbed me and choked me and put me in that room. And then he went away and left me.
Who?
He thought I was dead.
Who?
Mr. Lloyd.
Are you sure about this?
I don't know. It was dark, but it must have been him.
Has anybody seen you since he left you?
I heard some people in that room, but I went by and nobody saw me.
Mr. Lauren is dead.
How?
Lauren said she committed suicide. I think somebody killed her.
Him.
I'm sure you've come to the same conclusion I have.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's all have a meeting, discuss what to do. Living room?
Okay, in a minute. I gotta go downstairs. Now you lock yourself in here and don't let anybody know you're here. He thinks you're dead. He won't come here. I'll get back as soon as I can. You'll be all right. So greedy. So cold. What are you doing in here?
Wait. Don't wait.
What do you mean coming in here?
I didn't want them to take her away.
Drunk.
They will if you don't watch her.
You're drunk. All right, out with it, Bridget. Why did you come into this room?
I'm the only one who understands.
Understands what?
Your wife isn't there anymore. She's already joined them.
Bridget, I've had enough of your spook talk. Get out, you sot, and don't come back into this room again.
Where's what's your name?
I didn't disturb her since I don't think this concerns her.
No, you're right.
Mr. Lauren, isn't there some way we can get out of this house now?
No, none at all.
We could try breaking out.
The only door to the outside is made of steel. The bars of the windows are set in solid stone. We gotta stay.
I'm not afraid of your ghosts, Bridget. But I am afraid. When we came here a
Why?
few hours ago, the only thing we had in common was the $10,000 we get. Now, however, we share something else.
Murder?
Mrs. Lauren.
No.
So far tonight, one of us was almost killed by a falling chandelier. One of us was mysteriously slugged. One of us has been driven to the brink of absolute hysteria. And one of us is dead.
Well, just because she's a woman doesn't mean she's hysterical.
Suicide? And we must stay here for 6 more hours.
Why you gotta be like that?
6 of us.
Jesus.
I'm in it.
Who will be next? How will it happen?
Let me ask you a question, Doctor. You were the first one to see my wife there. Did you also see anything that she could have climbed up on and then jumped?
No.
Did any of them? There was none. How then did she get up there so high?
Exactly, Mr. Lauren. How? She couldn't have pulled herself up there. She couldn't have dropped from the ceiling. Do you think your wife killed herself?
No. She was murdered by one of you.
Or you, Mr. Lauren. To deliberately kill someone, you must have a reason.
We were all strangers to your wife. Only you had a motive for murder. What husband hasn't at some time wanted to kill his wife? What husband hasn't had 1,000 opportunities to do it in such a way so that he'd never be suspected? I'm not such a fool as to hang my wife from a ceiling by a rope.
The fact remains that you, or one of us, murdered Mrs. Lauren. And that's a matter for the police.
So how do we get the police?
That's my point. We can't until morning. What began as a silly party given by an eccentric has now involved us all in murder.
For once, Pritchard may be right. If another murder's in the works, let's stop it now.
Another murder.
Why not? Maybe one of us saw too much.
Why should even a millionaire want to give each of us $10,000 to spend one night in a gloomy old house? To see some ghosts, have a party? No.
Have you finished trying me, Doctor? And is the verdict guilty of murder?
Oh, this isn't getting us anywhere. Somebody killed Mrs. Lauren, we know that. One of us is guilty and the rest of us are innocent. Okay. Now, what we have to do for the next 6 hours is protect ourselves from each other.
Really think?
I don't think anything. I just know that I'm going to my room. And if anybody comes in, I'll shoot him. Or her.
And if we all stay in our rooms, we'll be safe. Because the innocent will have no reason to leave his room. And the guilty will admit his guilt if he or she does.
And we all have guns.
We're all agreed.
I wish this night were over.
Rooms? Guns. I tell you, it doesn't make any difference. They aren't through with us yet.
What's the use of saying goodnight?
Good night.
Oh, let me see something.
Good night, Doctor.
Bring that a little closer.
Okay. They've all gone to their rooms and locked themselves in.
Lance, I've been thinking. It was so dark down there. Maybe it wasn't Mr. Lawrence.
It was him, all right. He tried to kill you, and he did kill his wife.
How can you be so sure?
She tried to warn me, asked me to help him. The doc thinks he's gonna try and kill one of us. Now, there must be a way out of this place, and I'm gonna find it and get the police before he does.
I'm going with you.
But if he finds out you're alive... No, Laura, you're safer here than any place else. Now just lock yourself in and keep quiet. If I find a way out, I'll come back and get you. Admission of guilt, Doctor?
Certainly not. There's either somebody else in this house or one of us has left his room. Did you hear anything?
Organ music?
That. And someone walking.
You got yours. Ready?
You look downstairs, and I'll look up here.
Why not together?
There may be only minutes, seconds left of someone's life. Why waste time? It's almost over, darling. Every detail was perfect.
What's happening?
You've done it. Perfect crime. Beautiful.
Has she killed him?
Not yet. But she will.
Get me out of this hanging harness. What's taking that girl so long? What time is it?
At first, I couldn't get Nora to want to protect herself with a gun. After you appeared at the window, everything began to work just as we had planned. You were wonderful. Just the touch that finally drove her into complete hysteria.
It'll be worth all of our planning, darling. Where's Nora now? What's happening?
On her way to the cellar. So scared she'll shoot the first thing that moves.
And Frederick?
On his way to the cellar, too.
David, are you sure none of them will suspect us?
Of what? An hysterical girl accidentally shoots something? Who would suspect that we planned it that way, that we drove her to it?
What about my suicide?
Just a ghost party gag. We'll claim it was a dummy since I'm the only one that touched you.
And the caretakers?
Well, they had no idea what they were really doing.
What about Nora? She's not stupid, you know.
Darling, believe me, everything we planned is working perfectly. Nora is sure Frederick murdered you. She thinks Frederick attacked her in the cellar, not me. And now Nora's almost out of her mind with fear. The heads, the music, you're hanging. I tell you, when Frederick walks in there, she'll shoot him.
It's taking too long. David, you ought to be there.
When you hear the shot, come down to the cellar.
The fuck was that sound effect?
David? David?
At last you've got it all. Everything I have. Even my life. But you're not going to live to enjoy it. Come with me, murderess. Come with me.
That is ridiculous. Oh no. Oh man. These special effects are something else. Or they were, at least.
Good night, Doctor. Good night, Annabelle. The crime you two planned was indeed perfect. Only the victim is alive. alive and the murderers are not. It's a pity you didn't know when you started your game of murder that I was playing too.
There must be some way to get in here.
It's right along here, somewhat.
Lance! I've shot Mr. Loren. He's down in the wine cellar. I don't think so. It's him. He's alive.
You didn't shoot anyone, my dear. I loaded your gun with blanks. I can tell you all now. Trent and my wife were planning to kill me. They failed. Trent tried to throw me in the vat. My wife stumbled and fell. I'm ready for justice to decide if I'm innocent or guilty.
Now there are 9. There'll be more, many more. They're coming for me now. And then they'll come for you.
Well. Okay, actually, is this even still... One thing I can't figure out is if it's even still going, because... I don't know. I guess that's the only thing I need to find out. The only thing I need to know. That'll work. There's something else to watch in the meantime. If only there was a lot of good shit in the fucking public domain. It's the only problem. I really wish I could watch some fucking John together. Yeah, I hate this. Maybe I shouldn't do knitting streams. If they're just gonna be this boring. Yeah, I'll watch a fucking meme bullshit.
What? What's the problem? Oh, here we go with the animals. Huh? What's the problem? You know what is the problem? I don't know. I mean, what is that here? What is what? What is that? Alright, take it.
I truly take no pleasure in being right about this show being terrible, because I love Scooby-Doo as a IP. I grew up with it and I have a lot of fond memories of the show. And Velma is doing a great job of destroying all of that for me. And I'm not alone in feeling that way. People who appreciate this show absolutely despise Velma for what it is. A terrible show that's masquerading as Scooby-Doo. This character right here isn't Velma. It's Mindy Kaling's insecurities and politics animated. That's all it is. And nobody cares about that. And to be honest, I thought the overt anti-white racism was bad. It got worse when they turned a literal animal, Scooby, into a black girl for Norville to date. I am so glad that this show has hit the floor. I'm so glad that everybody's agreeing that this show is terrible, because now Mindy Kaling can never do this again, hopefully, to another IP. I'm sorry that Scooby-Doo has to be the sacrificial lamb, but now future cartoons are protected from her idiocy. My wife and I's first attempt, and she's pregnant. We're about to have a kid. Literally shut up. I don't care that you... Are you serious? You miserable people. There's nothing but miserable people on that subreddit. We get it. You didn't want to be born and you don't want to have kids. But people are allowed to be happy about wanting to have a child and starting a family. You miserable losers. I get it that your lives have sucked, that all of you experienced is nothing but sadness. But don't share that sadness with the world. Keep it to yourself. You're bumming all of us out. I don't even like superheroes.
Sounds like projection.
Seeing diversity on the big screen. I went to Harlem to see Spider-Verse a second time. I sat in the front row, and rather than watch the film, I turned around and watched a young black boy. I watched his laughs and smiles. It was everything. How you see yourself versus how you really look like. Why do insufferable progressives talk about black people as if they're going to the zoo? It's incredibly strange and really prevalent both on Twitter and Reddit. I may have BPD, I may be fat, but at least I'm not white. At least I'm not a male monkey, colonizer, slave owner, discharged. Oh my God. This is evidence of someone's desperate need to be employed. Not for money, but just to be busy. You have way too much time to sit down and come up with, I guess, unique slurs for white people. At the end of the day, it's pathetic. Nobody's giggling with you other than other miserable people who also are unemployed. This is Lily. Lily is a trans-age 6-year-old girl. Her chrono age is 30. She is Arrow Ace. She is sex repulsed and believes she can't consent. She has a caregiver who provides for her. She is autistic and believes that she's never mentally developed past 6, which is why she identifies as trans age. She has very severe age dysphoria.
Probably hasn't aged past 6, to be honest.
Daily living because of this. You think? Oh my God, this is Hannah. Hannah is a trans-age 13-year-old girl whose chrono age is 18. She is a lesbian. Oh my God. Anna, what? There was a part of me that absolutely was screaming that this was a roundabout way for people to participate in grotesque age play. The first description just sounds like someone who desperately needs therapy. Someone who absolutely needs to talk to a professional and needs to leave the internet. Step the away from the keyboard. And the second one is some perverse excuse to participate in degenerate age play. The internet was terrible. Please, let someone destroy this invention. Oh my God, what an infamous photo. The way that the internet blew up the moment she posted this was gargantuan. So many different responses, so many different takes, just multiple people making fun of the fact of how awkward she looks without makeup, people pointing out the fact that she's bragging on money that people just give her, and if anybody
she
decided
ugly
not
as
to give her
fuck,
that money
too.
monthly, she would be broke like the rest of us. That Twitter thread was historical. I don't know if it's even still up.
Like,
If it
goddamn.
is, it ought to be archived somewhere. So my sister made a Reddit account today. Isn't that great? Guess what I found her looking at, though? Apparently this little girl is looking at the 8th circle of hell, because I didn't know that you could even do this with the Gacha app. I was aware of like the Gacha roleplay videos that were pretty gruesome, but not this gruesome. Dude, seriously,
Yeah.
instantly bumped up to an 11 out of 10. Thoughts and boss bitches that rate themselves 10 out of 10. That one girl that modestly rates herself a 5 out of 10. For the love of God, fill out the job application. Please, just fill it out and submit it. Just do it, please. It'll take up a little bit of time during your day so that you don't have to post stuff like this and make people like me see it. This is on the hands of every single Russian. Bro, even the civilians? I'll spare you. The answer will be yes. People have it in their heads that individual Russian citizens shouldn't be faulted for their government's actions. Bro, even the Russian children? Reddit discourse on the Ukraine conflict is just like this. It's even worse. This is the tip of the iceberg. I implore all of you guys just to do a quick cursory search on Reddit to look for these type of comments. They're ridiculous. You're about to encounter some of the most unsourced and least fact-checked takes on the planet. They're all radioactive and they're all stupid. A few of them are funny, most of them are just pathetic.
Hey, what's up? How are you guys?
Here. Okay. Here, okay. Filet chicken, watermelon.
Here, fried chicken. I got some chicken for you. I got some chicken for you. Put it in my mouth.
I feel kind of black right now. It's not pretty good. I'm black. You're cool.
I'm glad I recorded this.
Yeah, what's your YouTube channel? I know, but I do.
You're stupid.
You got 1.5 million subscribers?
Yeah.
Oh, yo. Oh, he's famous. Can I get a shout out?
He's only race for me.
I'll just to you, sir. I
like you for real.
You look like a really good guy. I like you. Like, also real.
Here.
Bro.
It's 2023, and you still think it's okay to hate on furries? Well, kid, I hope you enjoy being on the wrong side of history. I think the oldest version of this meme that I've seen is from 2019, and I'm glad that all of us are still keeping up the tradition of editing it. Everyone has been welcome in Warhammer, just don't bring your politics into the game. Translates as, don't be queer, don't be trans, if you are, hide it. That is not what that translates to. And to be honest, this is to be expected. To quote Cooley Bravo, Twitter the only place where well-articulated sentences still get misinterpreted. You can say, I like pancakes, and somebody will say, so you hate waffles? No, bitch, that's a whole new sentence. What the fuck is you talking about? Don't speak German here. As long as you only speak English, you're all right. It's not an attack, it's a logical statement based on a single accusation. Why the hell did you censor the word German? Because of gendered language, and I suggest you censor it too. Yes, because Gerwoman is a word, or Gerperson. Stop now. No, you're literally saying German. A word referring to a language is a gendered word. Stop using gendered language. Is it really so difficult to use Germixin and make people feel more secure and safe? For God's sake, yes. Actually, yes, it is difficult. It is a challenge to adopt your stupid language and your stupid terminology. The difficulty is in the idiocy. That's where the difficulty lies. Not in the actual word, because I can pronounce Germixin. I'm just not going to say it because I have common sense, like the vast majority of people who exist on this moldy rock. This next clip is of a woman describing twerking as a spiritual experience. And be prepared, this video is so dumb, it might just kill you.
Shaking is such a primal practice of releasing trauma and somatic blockages and emotions through our body, especially our hips. Our hips, now we know, is where we store emotions. So when you are twerking, when you're shimmying, you are literally releasing trauma, releasing stored emotions from your hips.
What kind of retarded ass shit is that?
You're crouching on the floor, you're connecting to earth, you're connecting to the womb, you're restoring your energy. And that's why it's not even just an African dance, but in Middle Eastern dance, in Latin American dance, salsa dance, bachata, every single dance form has some form of hip movement to it. This is also why zebras,
yeah, because that's how hoes be.
From the lion and they're about to get eaten, and they make it into the nick of time. They shake their bodies off, release the trauma, and they come back to homeostasis. So I started to realize that as I was doing this, I was healing myself through all of these generations of collective trauma that now we know.
Girl, if you just want to shake your ass, just shake your ass. You don't need to fancy it up. God damn.
Undulating, shaking.
Just do what the fuck you want to do. Don't fancy it up for no goddamn reason. What the fuck?
Is pedophilia. Notice the little grin on her face once the man confronted her. She was 100% fishing for a reaction. The absolute nerve of this woman. My respect for Thanos grows stronger every day. Huh? Fishing for a reaction? That's more than reasonable. Anyone who considers themselves a lolicon or consumes lolly content, they are inevitably going to hurt somebody or attempt to hurt somebody. That's why people care so much about that type of art style. And the fact that you're asserting that she's fishing for reactions implies that you reacted poorly to that. So it begs the question, what's in your hard drive, my man? This is a picture of Paris Hilton promoting her products and spraying her perfume on victims of an earthquake in 2018. Yep. So her priorities were not to help clean up or maybe even donate some of that money. She just wanted to promote her perfume. Such a great person.
This one time, this random guy added me on Snapchat and sent me this video, and I never posted it anywhere, and I'm not really sure why, but I'm gonna show it to you guys because I think it's funny.
Hey Madison, what's up? Let's hang out tonight. Hey Madison.
I almost got laid last night, went back to his apartment only to find out that he had a gas stove. Way to cockblock yourself, dude. Multiple island nations in the Pacific Ocean will be underwater in a century, and this woman genuinely thinks that her not fucking a dude who has a gas stove is doing anything to change that. And let's be honest about your position. Updating from gas to electric doesn't do anything to change the climate. The components that go into that stove are sourced from nations that don't care about climate measures. The materials that go into those components come from mines that damage the environment. And the electricity that powers those stoves
welcome back,
is still
Mr. No
predominantly
Doubt.
generated with coal and natural gas. My point being that improving the
Don't know
climate
what
on
you
this
mean by
planet requires
what
a complex
but,
solution.
yeah.
A solution that's
Welcome
merely
back.
Sisyphusian. So please, spare me your soapbox. Your simple platitude on Twitter about not fucking a guy because he has a gas stove has done nothing to solve that problem. Woman quits office job to work at McDonald's, breaks down in tears after one shift. Oh man, this really blew up on the subreddit. Everybody was talking about how goofy this girl was.
Why?
Apparently she was trying to make it seem like working that minimum wage job at McDonald's was super easy compared to her office job, and she has been severely humbled. Hopefully she has learned something valuable from this experience, and more so, I hope that you can find a better job, because congratulations, you've stepped into real-life Elo hell. Minimum wage work is so hard to escape. Wow, consider me a natsock then, because I really like old Cartoon Network, man. I catch myself watching Courage the Cowardly Dog all the time. In all seriousness, though, you guys can try to parse out what the fuck this could possibly mean. I went to the actual thread and tried to understand this person's position, and I lost 12 chromosomes. So all I'm saying is, be careful. You can easily search this person's tweet up. It is still live. I don't know why this buffoon hasn't deleted it yet, because they've received copious amounts of verbal abuse, but I will reiterate, this thread is devastating to the brain. It might just give you CTE. Women need to start using men for sex. Sleep with them and block them. Give them a taste of their own medicine. Oh my god, she's getting bodied in the quote tweets. Jesus. And to be honest, it makes sense. Everybody immediately made the same argument, like, oh no, don't fuck me and then not call me, oh my god. Everybody with a heartbeat and a brain cell pointed out this does nothing to change that type of behavior. If anything, it doubles down and encourages that type of behavior. Can I post nudes from when I was 15, or is that illegal? Come on. Come on, baby. How to deal with a boyfriend who cheats on you. College student makes her OnlyFans free after dumping cheating boyfriend. How does this get back at your boyfriend? If anything, it sounds like he got to disrespect you twice. Not only did he get to cheat on you, he also motivated you into ruining your business and leaking your nudes online for free. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ailerus, aka
Actually, yeah, that's true.
Today's video. And if you did, let me know in the comments down below and leave a like if you like the video. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and subscribe, fam. What you doing watching videos and not subscribing? And if you're old, hit that bell to get these notifications every time. I got another week of channel favorites lined up for you. I wanted to start out strong with r/trashy, so I hope to see you on Wednesday and Friday for even more entertaining content. And I wouldn't be able to do it without my Patreon supporters, so a big thank you to Star Madness, Ren Hex, Joner, Project Ghost, Mr. Bean, Clifford, James, Lucas Adams, Big Boy Bailey, Primavera, BMX30, Walinda, Ouija Baby, Cinnamon Sticks, Crush 40, Legacy Gamer, Scott.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Ooh, 6-hour Yakuza vid? No. Nah. As much as I love Yakuza. Don't know what I can watch. The shittiest thing about trying to do this on YouTube is like, how the fuck do you know what you can and can't actually watch? Like, you would assume because it's all on YouTube, you'd be able to watch it on YouTube and do this kind of shit, but no, not always. So I have no fucking clue. I mean, obviously can't listen to music and shit, but I don't know why the fuck I couldn't watch, like, Kenny versus Spenny. That shit's always fun. Man, there's nothing to actually watch. Or nothing I can watch. The fuck?
Few things are more horrific than everyday life. Take this concept and add a VHS CRT effect and you've got yourself a recipe for some truly unsettling games. It's a theme few have tackled despite how effective it's been in past media, from Manhunt to Videodrome. These are true micro-indie titles made by two Japanese friends using Unity. They're simple, janky and unpolished, but also they're a passion project between just two people. They're not action-packed or cinematic, they're tense and unique, offering a small snapshot of the horrors lurking beneath the surface of Japan, brimming with the folklore and culture that territory comes with. So let's begin with this anthology of Japanese horror, starting with The Closing Shift. The game opens with an unnamed barista who's late for her shift. We have to get ready and head out, taking the stairs down.
Okay.
When on the ground, we find a phone
Not
ringing.
a barista.
We grab the phone and track down its owner. Right off the bat, this dude gives off creepy vibes. His bizarre face model doesn't help. He just stands there now staring at us with his stupid compressed face. But it's a free country, so we get into our car and head to work. A coffee shop that, for legal purposes, is 100% not a Starbucks ripoff. Inside, our manager scolds us for being late and explains how the tutorials work, which are a series of educational VHS tapes. I do love an interactive twist in a tutorial, especially one that keeps you anchored in the game's world, but they're worthless. It's nearly impossible to see what's going on, but you know, A for effort. Walking onto the shop floor, a chill, lo-fi beat kicks in, and our shift begins. The start of each day is spent creating and serving different drinks. There are a bunch of different recipes, and you'll have to refer to the board in the staff room to put them together as orders fly in. Frothing milk or adding a variety of syrups, it's the core mechanic, and it's surprisingly fun once you get into the swing of it. Like a mindless simulation game or a greatly simplified Overcooked. Different customers all have their own quirks and personalities, ranging from tweakers to a group of bros buying each other their coffees. The models and animations are different. They're certainly not Chilla's specialty, but they're made by two people. All things considered, it's not awful and generally kind of fits the uncanny aesthetic of the game. Aside from the time our manager left, clipped through his car, possessed it, then drove away. One of the earliest customers we serve talks about the rise of stalker cases. She also subtly calls us clapped, then orders a mocha chip basic bitchiato, but the tone is already set. You can't not pay attention to her forewarning. There's a stalker out there. Eventually, the last customer will stumble in, wearing a trench coat and looking dodgy. We're one wrong order away from getting a flash in. But this is a detective who's scouting the area, looking into the crazed stalker reports. He claims that we should close shop early if we want to be safe. Advice we take up and begin the close. Each night, there are a few different cleaning duties we have to carry out. Tonight, we have to sweep the floor, heading to 5 different dirty spots around and holding the mouse button on it for a few seconds. This cleaning section is cleverly impactful because we've just been warned about the creep on the loose, and the second the customers are gone and the cleaning begins, the happy jingle instantly turns off. You feel like the environment's becoming hostile. You go from this to this. Pure, unnerving silence. Even the shop design is very clever here. It's like 90% window, which means when you're by yourself at night, anyone can see in and see what you're getting up to, while it's very hard for you to see out. We carry out our duties and finish sweeping when the power cuts. Now in the dark, we have to make our way to the breaker in the storeroom, walking through the dark, silent store, all the while knowing a stalker is out there. Turning the power back on, milk cans are spilled all around. Milk returned and the floor swept. The day ends and we get a flash of what looks like someone hiding in a closet. A closet that looks mightily familiar. The second day begins, in which our first customer claims that a weird man was standing in the window staring at us, but when we check it out, no one's there. As the night progresses, increasingly weird customers will rear their head, and that actually means making the drinks becomes kind of tense because of one reason. You have to turn your back on the customer to make it. You're exposed. Naturally, our back is the most vulnerable part of us. You want to protect it. It's instinctual. And here, with a creep on the run and weird things happening around us, we have to take our eyes off of the customers and just hope for the best. Anyway, we make this dude his coffee, and he walks to the back corner of the shop, the only area you can't keep an eye on. And once he leaves, we have more chores. We have to clean the tables and take out the bins. But while we're taking them out, a van enters the car park and slowly crawls alongside us, then stops dead in front of the bins and sits there until we leave. A lot of the horror in Chilla's games comes from implication. This could just be a dude turning around in a car park, or it's a threat, it's intimidation. And when clearing the tables at the back corner, we find a picture of ourselves from the window. But there was only one customer that sat there, a man in a grey hoodie. Day 3. We leave the flat as usual, but on the way down, we bump into this absolute arsehole. Now that was such an unnecessary jump scare. What's this woman doing? A Saints Row style insurance fraud? Speed around the corner like that again and I'll boot the crib over. Don't try me, bitch. At work, we speak to our manager, who not only doesn't believe we're being stalked, but implies we're clapped before dashing out the door. The real kicker here, despite raising our concerns, he doesn't even have the decency to close the back door behind him. After a good day's work, we begin bussing tables again, when we hear a high-pitched buzz come from the intercom. Looking at the camera, there's a man stood in the drive-thru. I personally wouldn't go out there under any circumstances, but we don't have a choice, so we head out to find the driveway empty. And in his place, we find a note on the menu. Taking the letter, we find a proclamation of love for us, you know, your typical incel shit, but all very worrying. The next day, the doorbell rings and we find another creepy letter where the stalker claims to know us better than anyone, claiming that he lost his phone and we found it for him. This confirms that the man at the start of the game was the stalker and his obsession is getting out of hand. It's snowing now, so piles of ice and snow were building up on the ground. Weirdly, it's kind of reassuring because the white reflections make the dark corners feel brighter. They're less likely to hide some dude jerking his dingaling. Arriving at our car, we're in trouble. It ain't working, so we have to take the bus. And after a short ride, we arrive at the coffee shop, but as the bus is pulling away, we see our stalker in the back window, who must have been sat behind us the entire time. And man, you have to know that dude is sniffing the seat when you get up. You just have to know. In the shop, we have to find our manager, where we get a very rare video game shitter scare. I don't blame him for that. If I was squeezing out a big one and some gal barged in, I'd scream too. We carry out our shifts, even getting a visit from legendary Lil Tweaker. Then at the end of the day, we carry out the regulars, chucking out the bins and cleaning the toilet and finishing up. The room goes dark. Through the back window, we see a countdown begin and ghostly apparitions appear. They request drink after drink endlessly as the counter slowly ticks down, and it's implied that we have to fulfill these orders in time lest we face the spirit's wrath. But try as you will, there are just too many, and eventually the time runs out. It was a nightmare. I don't know if I'm giving it too much credit, but this scene could represent how she views the customers. Each one could potentially be her current or even future stalker. We see each one as a potential threat to our safety. It's like an anxiety dream. Whatever the case, it's back to work, this time for our final shift. The detective is first in the door. Apparently we called him last night out of fear of our stalker, and he compliments our decision, claiming that the police wouldn't be able to help. Then he offers to look around the area to see what he can find. Nothing particularly untoward happens until the last customer arrives, and they seem iffy. She asks if the antenna is having work done, because there's a man on the roof. How jolly. Assuming it's the detective, we grab a ladder, head over, and climb up to find a hatch leading into the locked storeroom. Jumping down, we discover a dirty living quarter, the same one we've seen in the different flashes through the stalker's eyes. He's been living in the coffee shop this entire time. With the shocking revelation, we have to shut up quick and get out, binning the remaining food and doing a quick stock check. The music and tension are building up massively here. And now you could ask why she doesn't just leave or call the police, but you know, it's a horror game. Creating scary scenarios trumps logic. Job's complete, we only have one last objective, flipping the closed sign. The stalker's played his hand, and this time he means business, blocking the way out and looking to cause us serious harm. But now we have to figure out what to do. There are technically 3 ways the game can end, depending on what you do now. One option is just running out the back and getting utterly steamrolled. Not a great option, to be honest, so what else can we do? Well, we can try a stealthy escape, taking the screwdriver from the storeroom, opening the vent in the toilet and sneaking to our car. The only problem is, we forget to check the back seat. These are not the main endings. To get the main ending, we need to grab the ladder, which has magically regrown on the wall, get up to the roof. On the way, we can even see the detective lying dead in the cold. The poor bugger. Yeah, this one's for you, Trenchcoat Man, because from here, we can grab a cinder block and drop it on our stalker's head. He drops to the ground and a text dump explains what happens next. Having just killed a man, she runs to the nearby police station asking for help, but when they return, the body's gone. And with nothing else to do, they just bring her back home, leaving her to fend for herself with a crazed stalker killer out there. Not great police work, some might say.
Typical police work, I would say.
Back in our room, the TV signal goes weird, so we decide to call the repairman and notice our phone is missing. Outside, we hear our phone ringing and head down, where we find it sat right next to the same van that's been present from the start. Every step you take on the way to get the phone is just painful, because you know at any moment something awful can happen. We go back up to our room and call the cable company, when from behind us, the wardrobe opens. And that's it. It's depressing and quick, but it has been foreshadowed the entire game. As the detective said earlier, the police wouldn't be able to help. It is a shame that there's 3 endings, but in every one of them, the player is murdered by the stalker. If you're grifting through all these endings, you think there would be at least one semi-decent one. This game tackles a theme that not many others have looked at and is actually a very consistent and ongoing issue that affects a lot of more vulnerable people, being alone in a city full of creeps. These are very real fears that a lot of people around the world feel every day, and I think the game does a good job of capturing that anxiety. Social work. The term itself is enough to strike fear into the average man. It's a very difficult job that requires loads of dedication from an emotional and physical standpoint. And that said, it's not often the backdrop for a horror game. Enter the caregiver. This game begins with a player, Tomita, in the staff room of a local care center. We grab our bag and head to the receptionist, who I'm pretty sure doesn't have a rendered face. It's like a wig on a mannequin. Horrifying. Anyway, we explain that we're about to head over to a client's house called Suichi because their daughter called claiming that there was an emergency. The client in question has a house just north of here, so we head over through a town, up a hill, and eventually we arrive at our destination. We let ourselves in and start to look for the old man, but he's nowhere to be found. The theme of this game feels like it's taken directly from Ju-on the Grudge, a creepy house with an elderly person being cared for by a social worker. It's the same plot, but you know what? I'm here for it. Only we players were lucky enough to get a Grudge game. With the house being completely empty, we check the garden, and while looking around, we spot Suichi sat in the window staring at us. We introduce ourselves, asking what emergency we were called out for, but he doesn't say anything. He appears to be mute. Looking down, he's begun to wet himself. We don't have a rolled up newspaper to hit him with, so instead we use a cloth to clean it up, and from his side, it looks like his entire face is missing. But he just has really small, squat facial features around the front, thank God. I was almost concerned for the man. Pissy pants dealt with, we explore the building once again, able to clear some bin bags and gain access to the second floor. Heading up, in one of the rooms, we discover a sealed door, and begrudgingly, we take a closer look. Staggering back, we fall to the ground and the camera zooms out, revealing Raiden. Sometime later, we find ourselves in the shoes of Kuramoto Naomi. We grab our gear and speak to the receptionist, where she tells us to take over the Suichi case. Obviously, we know this is bad news, but to Naomi, this is just another day on the job, so we head over. It's dusk now, and there's an orange glow covering the town, which looks so much better. The super dark aesthetic chiller games often opt for do the games no favors. This kind of setting makes the graphics pop way more. Arriving a second time and heading inside, we hear a noise from the kitchen. A kettle is boiling, so we head over and sort out the appliances. The dirty living quarters and social care aspect also reminds me a bit of hikikomori, a big problem in Japan. People are choosing to close themselves off from society and slowly die living within their dirty homes. The game might not be directly drawing inspiration from the social issue, but there are definitely parallels. You can explore the house again now. You're even able to head upstairs to the same room we saw Tomita get ambushed in earlier. The door doesn't open fully, only a small gap. The game does give you the option to peep through though. Nothing happens if you do, but it's a tense moment. You can't help but peep, even though you really don't want to. Peeping in horror games is just never ideal. Eventually, we find the old man in what looks like a bonfire room, and he's either letting off some steam or that's meant to represent his smelly ass. Either way,
Vikings
we decide
game
he needs
crazy
a bath.
right
But before
now.
we can do one, a TV turns on.
I wouldn't know. I don't know sports ball.
So we track it down and turn it off.
Yeah, how you doing tonight, Mouse? How's your evening going? I guess good.
After this, a bird hits the window and dies with a safety pin in its mouth. Something we'll need later, but first we need to get the bath running. Problem is, there's a plank of wood blocking the door, so we need to clear it first. There's a window in the garden we can use to knock the plank, but we need some steps and a long tool. We grab the rake from the shed and find a ladder in the garden. Now, rather fucking moronically, you can't use this ladder to step up to the window. No, sir. Instead, we have to use the ladder to get to the attic so we can use a fucking step stool. This is the definition of reinventing the wheel, and it almost threw me into a blind rage. After clearing the plank beyond the door, we see a pale woman wheeling Suichi past. I mean, you're telling me that that's not the shift over with, huh? I'll be out of there, but what can you do? Like I said, social work's a nightmare. Searching through the house, he's nowhere to be found until you look out the window and find him in the garden. The bugger gave us a whippy-wop. He's a natural-born survivor. Again, we don't seem in any way concerned by these goings-on and take the man for his bath.
The Vikings game.
Once in the bath, there's a knock on the door. Or at least
Mr.
I think
No
there is.
Dad,
It sounds like the world's shittiest moped is trying to start up. He's been sent a package, which we take in, leave on the table, and after that we tuck the old bye into bed. Once there, we're stuck in the bedroom, with the background sounds building up. Then it reaches a peak, and from the door we can see something watching us down the hall. Back at headquarters, we speak to the receptionist, who turns out to actually have a face. Delightful. We express our concerns about the house and the old man. Wanting to know more, we asked to read Tomita's journal to see if anything stood out. Reading it, we discover references to the horrific scene we saw at the start of the game, but interestingly, she's still alive and hiding in a flat nearby, so seeking answers, we head over to see what she knows. She lives in the tallest building in town, but at the front door, we're stopped by this smackhead that will only let us pass if we win a game of rock, paper, scissors. And I don't know what the hell they were going for with this guy. He doesn't even have a proper animation. They've just crammed in a stock fighting idle animation. And to make it even better, he only ever chooses paper. It's not even random, like a random number generator between 1 to 3 as to which fucking choice he makes. I could do that. Like, this is so disjointed and dumb, it kills the sense of atmosphere that the game has spent the last 20 minutes creating. Me and him, he still won't let us through. Instead, he asked that we get drugs for him. So throwing away all sanity and any sense of morality, we sneak back into the care center and head to the medical cabinet to grab something. He doesn't even specify what drug he wants, so we just
got their ass.
We cash in our happy juice and head out to find our old friend sat in the dark. Speaking to her,
now
she's
they're not
unsettled,
in
claiming to feel
playoffs
sick,
anymore.
so we offer to make some tea. Tea in hand, we ask her what she saw. Something that sends her into a frenzy where she shouts, or, you know, types aggressively, that we have to get
That's
out.
a good
We're not
thing?
getting anywhere with her, so
I
we
guess.
leave. And
I
after
don't
taking
know.
a few steps, we hear a scream from the flat.
And he's on suicide watch.
Despite the Chiller Games
Assuming
relying on
he's
our
even
imagination
there.
to do the scary,
Yeah.
they decided to show one frame of her falling here, basically T-posing on the way down.
But oh well.
It would have been so much better if they just had her jumping over the edge, letting the waves ring out from below, and letting us sit on the balcony, taking in what just happened.
I don't know. Maybe they'll do better or worse
After
depending
all
on
the
what you want. I
black,
don't
we're
know.
back in
I
the
don't know
care
shit.
center. This time, no one's
No
around,
sports.
but we apparently get an uncontrollable urge to return to the house, the Suichi. It's raining on our journey over, and inside, the old man's nowhere to be found. Exploring, we find the different components to build a winch, and we use it to open the locked door upstairs, finding a sealed altar and a crowbar with a bloody note claiming that good fortune can be found beneath the floor. There's only one floorboard in the house we're able to interact with, so
Yeah.
taking the crowbar
Oh,
to it,
okay,
we
yeah,
reveal a
he's-
tunnel
oh, okay.
and head down.
Well, damn.
Making our way through a dark cave, we stumble across a bizarre shrine with a pile of dead crows in the
Hopefully
center
he'll
and the
be
old man
doing fine.
Suichi hanging in
But-
the center, covered in
Yeah,
black
but my
smoke.
day's been going all right, I guess.
There's a note by the altar
Can't
that
really
contains
complain.
a reference to different times and locations
It's been
in the building.
tired
we have
all
to set
day.
the times on the 4 clocks spread around
Like
the house
usual.
to break the curse that's keeping Suichi pinned to this altar. We start to make our
Well,
way
you
up the
know how
cave
it is.
when the grandmother
How's your
attacks.
day been?
Granny's
Other
appearance
than,
is
I guess,
scary when
doing
you first
good
encounter
on
her.
sports.
But once you make some distance and cast your eyes on her moronic movement animation, it completely kills the atmosphere. I mean, come on, just make her slower. Why speed up the animation when it looks like she's a coke-addled soccer mum on a power walk?
You're
This is
at
mobile
10
horror game level
today.
bad. Dodging a deadly attack, so we find the 4 clocks and set the times
Well,
accordingly, which
9.
opens a chest in the living room. Inside, we find a ceremonial dagger, which we
Oh, you're
use with
watching the
Suichi downstairs
Boondocks.
and break
Ooh.
the curse, allowing us to remove him from the cross. Surprisingly,
not bad.
he's able to talk now, having only been made mute by a curse placed on him by what he refers
I should
to as the
probably
Raven,
download
who's
that
now
show
apparently
and
possessing his dead wife. According to
watch
him,
that
taking
shit.
the wife's bones out of the altar upstairs and removing them from the property
It's funny,
will
I've
break
seen.
the curse. So he gives us a
I'm
pair of
familiar
scissors
with
and
the
we head off.
movie The Boondock Saints. I know it's not the same thing.
Just before
But it's
leaving the
funny, I'm
cave,
familiar
we
with
find
the movie The
grandmother sat in front
Boondock
of the
Saints,
ladder.
but
She's
not the show
attacking
The
us anymore, claiming
Boondocks.
she only wanted them to stay together.
At least
I mean,
not
I
as
thought she
familiar
was
with
playing
that
a
show as
whistle
I
there
am
first, but I think she was
with
just
the
touched
movie
the
for
blade while
whatever
praying.
fucking
Taking her
reason.
bones, we turn to leave when we're ambushed by Raiden.
I know
the
they're not
Ghost
the
and
same,
Crow.
though,
We're in an
but-
endless maze of rooms now with the spirit chasing us down, looking like something
Still,
right out of
it's
Takeshi's
weird.
castle. This spirit is referred to as Tengu.
Oh, where
They're
the
disruptive
teacher says the
deities that would
N-word?
appear as birds of prey,
Oh,
mixed with
that
humans and
fucking-
other creatures. Even the mask we found on
I think I
Suichi is
remember,
based on,
yeah.
let me get this right,
I think I
Saru
kind of
Tahiko
remember that.
Okami, the original depiction of a Tengu, which has a red face and long nose, as we saw
I think I
depicted in the cave.
remember the actual incident it was based off
Eventually
of, but
running through, we run into a large
I don't think
white
I remember
room,
the
glowing
episode now
intensely
that I
with
think
a
about
static
it.
white until we regain consciousness outside the building. Having
Only
taken the bones
episode
out,
I
the
like
curse is broken.
expressly remember is the A
We get
Pimp
another
Named
text out
Slipback
now outlining
episode.
what happened after this point. We take the bones to a nearby temple where a priest blesses us and buries the bones. After which we decide to take care of Suichi ourselves, not wanting to leave him behind.
Yeah, it's
And
just
after a
hilarious,
while,
yeah.
we decide to visit
Well,
the
the
wife's
Boondocks
grave,
is
where we
always
get this
hilarious.
abomination.
From what of it I've seen.
In the end, the old man was the evil spirit all along. Waluigi. I'm just gutted the old granny wasn't like wobbling up the hill before tombstoning us into the grave instead. What was the demon doing for the days we were looking after him? Just sitting there in his own shit, waiting for the most epic prank time. It looks like a fan-made Blender animation. These games really struggle with the endings. It's either a bizarre cutscene that leaves you confused and wanting more clarification, or a huge text dump that just tries to explain everything in a very monotonous and unengaging way. To round this video off, I wanted to talk about a game that got Chiller on my radar in the first place, the convenience store.
Yeah.
In many ways, it's a predecessor to the closing shift, and it's an interesting one. Let's just say their first
Decent
dabble into
game.
this environment, it was not without jank. But there is something so captivating about being a store
I know.
clerk in the middle of nowhere with bizarre
Jump scare.
hoardings happening around you. But what is it about? We begin in our home. It's dirty and the ceiling looks like it's leaking, but given the amount of living space in Japan, hey, this is the Ritz. Also, there's a radio in the hallway that's playing funny buggers, flipping around every time you get close to it. It's just a glitch, but I don't know how they pulled it off. Surely that requires more code to make happen. It's bizarre. We get dressed, eat some food, grab a flashlight, and head
you got some pussy-ass teachers there.
Pass through the same small town. The
Can't
theme
fight.
Of work commute is present throughout a lot of these games. It's definitely a focal point of the developers. Fearing the
But then
mundane,
again,
I don't know. Maybe they just have a very
they went to
hatred
school
for
to
repetitive
teach,
work
not to
schedules. The
fucking
Japanese
kick
are
ass.
famously overworked, and this would be
They
their
actually
way of
wanted to
making it.
kick
On the
ass.
journey,
They
there are
wouldn't be
dozens of
teachers.
lamps, but no light. The entire town looks like the chosen undead
But,
decided
yeah.
to end the age of fire.
At least they
Passing over a
know-
bridge and turning a corner,
at least
we
they
see
know
our
not to say
workplace.
that
The
shit.
glow illuminating the area. Against the dark of the town, it feels like a safe haven. It's drawing us in.
Suitland
Entering the
High
light on
School? I don't even know what the fuck that
With its
is.
white shelves and colourful stock. This is where we'll be spending most of our time. We speak to our manager and clock in. There's even a CCTV system that covers the entire store. And from the moment you look through those cameras, you just
The
know
last
that they're
time I've
gonna
even
cause
been
high
to a
at some
high
point.
school
Each day
was
on
when
the
I was
side, there's a
delivering
note
Uber
written from our manager giving us a task
Uber
to
Eats.
carry out. Today, we have to
Like,
check
that
for
was the
expired
last time
food
I've
and
been to
check
a
out
high
the
school.
bad stuff. You can even bring the food to a homeless man outside if you're feeling generous. I thought that might impact the game's end, you know, but no, the ungrateful lout just walks off without so much as a thank you. Sometime later, after serving our first
That's a
customer, the door
badass
will start to
Maryland
open
school.
and close with the unique dinging noise ringing out.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Maryland. Ugh.
But taking a closer look, no one's there. Spooky. Out back, we throw away the rest of the food, discovering
Well,
what looks
I
like
used to
police
know
tape
somebody
blocking
in
off an unknown
Maryland
area. We
once,
can't get past, so we
not
continue our
decades,
shift, bobbing along
like
until
a
the
decade and a
mailman
half
comes in,
ago.
claiming to have a special delivery for us. Nice one. Keep
Let's
on
just say
keeping
I'm
on.
glad I
Going
don't
home,
know him
we open the
anymore.
package, finding a tape that we instantly whack into the nearby player.
But
It's not clear, but looks like footage recorded from outside a serious crime
Virginia,
scene. I
yeah.
would like
Well,
the
yeah,
plot
Virginia is
sinister.
terrible.
I assumed we'd be able to find
At
the
least
crime
we're not
scene
West
by exploring the
Virginia.
town, but I couldn't find them. I found houses that look very similar
So,
structurally,
you know, we
but
have
there was no
that.
crime scene, no tape. It's a shame. It feels like a wasted opportunity to build real atmosphere, make proper use of the town.
And we have
created.
Chris
It's weird
Chan,
to have this
so,
entire town developed without ever really using it. Back at base, our manager talks about the door's behaviour from yesterday, claiming it was caused by faulty wiring and laughing at us for being scared. Because of course, ghosts aren't real. The wrong game to proclaim that, methinks. Clocking in, we check our new task. There's a rat infestation out back we have to deal with. Easy enough. Listen, there is more to this game than just shopkeeping, I swear, please bear with it. We grab some anti-rat spray and just fucking demolish the rat community before heading inside to find another customer. He wants 5 beers and a pack of smokes, which is all good and jolly, my droogs. But viddy this, the arsehole expects us to get them for him. These are the worst type of customers, real or virtual, entitled. To make matters worse, you can't just stack the beers. You have to walk back and
You
forth
used to
5
know a
times for
Virginia
each
guy
individual
that-
can. I'm in purgatory
that got
right now. Just
exposed for
awful game
sword
design.
fighting with
I mean,
another
unless
dude.
we're being sarky shits and trying to make a point, you know.
Well, what's so
bringing them
bad
over
about
real
that?
slow, like, in which case, hey, fair play. Rude
What's
asshole
so bad
served,
about
we look down the
consensual
aisle to
sword
find an old
fighting?
lady stood by the toilets and head over to see what she's about. She says some nonsense about her daughter living here before getting angry and marching off. Yeah, that's right, shuffle your dusty ass on out of here. Peace restored, the door starts acting up again. So we decide to check the cameras, and in the doorway, we see a child. This isn't good, and as always, the protagonist doesn't seem to care. I'd have handed in my notice the second the old bird scowled at me, let alone the creepy camera kids. Anyway, we finish our shift, hand over another package, and head home. But waking up the following day, we start to head out when we catch something in our bathroom. Whatever's happening at the store, it's following us home. Arriving for our 3rd shift, the manager's nowhere to be found, so we head to the staff room to look for him. Nice one, you compressed JPEG Easter Island head looking ass. Real good joke. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night, buddy. I hope nothing happens to you. Today's task, restock the shelves. A job we quickly carry out, and once done, a man comes in claiming he's here to fix the conditioning unit around back. While he's working, we serve another customer, one that seems concerned we're working alone so late. Feeling protective, she leaves us a talisman to keep us safe. Customer satisfied, we go to check on the engineer, except he's not there, and the yellow tape has been pulled down. There's a pipe wrench on the ground that we can use to open the AC unit, and inside, we find a key. Through the now open gap, we find a shed, and the key unlocks it, but the door still won't open. Apparently we feel an unknown force pulling our arm when we try, so we give
Oh,
up.
he was a gangster
Then back in
looking
the
dude,
store,
so it
we
made
hear
it
heavy
funnier.
typing.
What kind of sword
There's no
was
one
it
there,
then?
but we go to check the cameras when we see
Because if it's a
something that's
gangster with a
scary,
samurai
something,
sword, that's
jump
too
scary.
that is too
Now, this is
stereotypical.
what some would call a cheap scare, and I couldn't disagree. They're working
If
late
it was like
games
an
vastly
Eastern
improves at building more
European,
genuine scares. That was kind of shit.
you know, bastard
Back on the shop
sword, that would
floor,
be
there's
better.
a bundle of talismans scattered. Gathering them up, there's only one place to use them. Inside, we find our manager. He's dead, and on the TV next to him is the number 4. Yeah, that locker scare ain't so funny now, is it, huh? Walking in, the door shuts, with scratching and banging noises building up all around us. The body slowly looks up, and no matter where we're standing, the head will follow. We wake up. The protagonist thinks it was just a nightmare, which, I mean, certified dipshit moment, but regardless, there's another tape on the floor. This time, it shows the outhouse. This confirms our earlier suspicions that these tapes are likely to be showing locations where people have been murdered. After this, for whatever reason, we decide to head back to work. The shop's empty when we arrive, and there's no clocking sheet. This should immediately put your back up, because clocking in has become such a ritual at this point that you know something's up when it's not there. Leaving the area, the world shifts to a nightmare version. It's not the most elaborate, there's not more than a few red cracked JPEGs scattered around the floor, but in place of the food, the shelves now have dozens of TVs you can interact with, turning on up to 4 at a time. You have to turn them on in a certain order, but what frickin' order is anyone's guess? There's a ton of them. This is where our trusted CCTV comes in clutch. Looking through, we can see a ghost child wandering the shelves, stopping to stare at 4 specific TVs on a fixed route. These are the TVs we have to turn on. It is still tough to figure out exactly what TV he's looking at from these angles, but thankfully the correct TVs don't make static noise when switched on, so making the correct choice just takes some trial and error.
Okay, yeah, I got it right.
Once done, we hear crying from the store.
I thought I fucked up here for a second. I was gonna kill myself.
We find a child on the floor.
Kill it.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That entire climax was fucking awful, super janky, and even the noise was dumb. It sounded like the ghost was tugging out a quick one before attacking. With all that build up, you'd have hoped for a more dramatic conclusion. It's over in a flash, then we're just back in the normal shop like nothing happened. But in any case, there's a final tape out the front. From here, we have a choice. Watch the last tape, or post them to where they came from. Viewing the tape is considered the bad ending, and watching, we see footage from outside our window. Then, it cuts to us in bed, where the monster attacks us, claiming its 5th victim. This ending is ass. It implies that after everything we've seen, we decided that the best course of action was, oh shit, time for a quick nap. It's dumb. And to make matters worse, there's no save or checkpoint system, which means you have to trek through the entire game again to get the other ending. In the good ending, we send all the tape back to their delivery address, which appears to break the curse.
So it's just
a
point
text
when we
scroll
put it out
outlines
there.
what happens next. Which
Yeah,
for
let's
brevity's sake, I'll
fucking.
summarize greatly. After
Yeah, bro,
box
send
off
that shit to
and quit our job and spend a
118
while
Patrician
investigating the
Place,
shop and recording
Satsuma,
this paranormal
Florida,
case. It turns out that there was a murder
32189.
suicide where an abusive husband murdered his pregnant wife, then himself, and yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. The baby and wife in question are likely the 2 spirits we see haunting the ground, although the
No,
point
don't
of the
actually
tapes are never explained in any way, despite playing a huge role. Sometime later, as the protagonist is walking past the shop, she
No,
apparently
fuck
feels
Florida.
something wrong,
Fuck
and looking
Florida.
at her hand, she's picked up a rusty nail from the floor. That's
Seriously,
the last
fuck
piece of
Florida.
information the game gives us. What happens next is up for
Fuck
interpretation.
Florida.
Either she shakes out of it and leaves the area, or she uses
Nah.
that rusty nail to get up to no
Nah,
good,
bro, I don't
possessed
eat
by the violent
vegetables.
spirit that haunts the area. It would have been great if all this information was in some way conveyed through the game rather than being dumped at the end.
I don't eat no
Overall,
damn
it's not great.
vegetables
The
except for
story isn't
potatoes.
portrayed or concluded in a satisfying way, and the ghost appearances are just awful. In just a few years, you can see huge improvements to the Chiller Art games in almost every sense. I just wanted to show you where they started so you can appreciate where they're going. Okay, so as I've said multiple times, these games are goofy, unpolished, and amateurish, and they're 100% not to everyone's taste. But I have to reiterate, for a 2-man team, I think it's impressive how unique they are, and it's only getting better with each iteration. Something that has to be hindering their quality is the rate at which they pump these games out. They're like rabbits populating the Steam store. I wish they would take their time and spend a year or 2 working on one big polished horror game with the same CRT found footage aesthetic. Hire a decent animator to actually bring the creatures to life and make the experience
Florida accent? No, I can't. I can't be that retarded. No.
The VHS horror scene is
It's not
massively
possible.
underutilized, and it's just naturally scary. So the more content in that field, the better. These games are primarily walking simulators, which
And
some
I don't
people
think
hate,
you want
but
me
I
to
do
say
think
the
they have their
N-word
place in gaming,
on
especially
stream,
for
so
indie
no, I
teams
can't
that
do a
just
Florida
can't afford to
accent.
add engaging combat or enemies that don't walk like they've shit themselves. Well, I hope you enjoyed the bizarre rabbit hole that is Chiller Art Games. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe. You've made it this far in a bizarre video about analog horror games very few people have heard of. You might as well take that next step and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like if you enjoyed any of these games. Check them out on Steam. Chiller Arts, very good stuff. I wish them the best of luck moving forward. This was just a detour, a little break, and I'm moving houses in about 2 weeks' time. So this whole setup, this will probably be the last time you guys see it. I know I haven't been using it in the videos of late, but say goodbye, because we'll have something new next time you see me. So take care. Bye-bye.
Well, shit. Just say jit. But like fadjit. Yeah. I mean, that would be Florida for you. Nah. You think that's their slang? No. It's got to be slang for something, because that don't make no damn sense. Of course, if it's from Florida, then yeah, it's not gonna make sense. Fuck Florida. I really wish we'd just bomb Florida off the fucking map. Just get rid of it. Just destroy the fucking place. Who cares? It's Florida. Oh, Jesus. What the fuck? Some rage clips? Okay.
Dalton said there's cleavage in this video, so guys, I don't want to see anyone type booba. Yo, Jimmy here live. Welcome. We're gonna watch the craziest gamer rage moments
Florida
you've
can
ever
get
seen.
robbed by
It's
some
gonna
Chicago
blow
motherfuckers
your
in a
mind.
Chicago alley? Oh.
Like the
Florida
video if you like
would.
it, subscribe if you want, and yeah, let's go.
Of course, the Chicago motherfuckers are pussies anyway. I don't know.
Chat,
So I don't know. Maybe all Florida has to do is just be weird, and the Chicago motherfuckers will pussy out like they always do.
Okay, Mario! No! Oh, I'm gonna come. I don't understand.
Diamonds anywhere.
Mario! Why so loud? I'm actually quite confused on why Mario is such a dick. Ever. Also, this isn't XQC, is it? This isn't XQC. It's not XQC. Oh, he gets just as mad as him.
Nimm dir mal 5 Minuten kurz Konzentration, Bruder. Du bist so kurz. Ich hab mein Bildschirm wieder kaputt. Ja, Bruder, was soll ich mit dem Bildschirm? Kriegt man den wieder repariert? Nee, ne?
My man raging at a Fortnite. Oh my god.
How you still alive? How you?
Oh my god.
Go on, Patrick. One more. One.
It's Fall Guys! It's it's the parkour bean game! Oh my god! Ooh.
Oh! Shit game, bro! Shit! 104 damage! Right click, man! I swear to my god, this game is fuck.
This game is.
What?
Oh my god. Dude, you have a dummy to punch right there. What are you doing? Uh-oh.
Gib mir echte Klette! Mom!
This is a mom?
Sounded like you said my name there for a second.
Oh, that's just tragic.
Oh, what the f-
Owned.
What the f- How do I recover? How do I recover? How do I recover?
You think anyone's gonna answer her?
How do I recover? How do I recover? How the fuck do I recover, bro?
Oh my god.
I get it though. I feel the same fucking way.
Kick the desk. Damn.
He's tracked it exactly now.
Door stuck.
What the f you going, bro? Where you going, bro? Stop running, bro.
Uh-oh.
Hey, I've never landed billboards, so I didn't know you could.
My favorite is like the games that don't really matter that much or have that high stakes, especially like Fall Guys, bro. It's so funny.
Ja, man kennt's halt einfach, oder? Ja, man kennt's halt einfach, oder? Ja, okay.
She snorts Sour Patch Kid Sugar. Okay. That's a sentence.
Oh no. Okay, yeah, kill him. Ooh.
Tre capi.
Ooh.
Io parco.
Is this the guy from before? He's got like the dummy next to him. Ooh, nice shots, nice shots. Oh no.
She looks like she does.
Hit the dummy.
Oh,
Chat, why do they have dummies in their
Oh,
room
okay, well,
and they
probably
don't
then.
even hit them? It doesn't make sense to
I
me.
mean, that burned like a motherfucker though.
That was pretty tame.
Hab ich schon gegriffen, Digga. Du Bastard!
Okay, this game is actually tilting. It's actually a tilter.
I'm fine. Help me out here. Reach up! Bro, see, just rush out, bro. You suck at this game. Just rush out, man.
He died too. What?
Ten.
He only needs one more ring.
10.
Showing my brother. I've not even been playing. But look at the team,
Oh my god!
Look at the teams.
That's hilarious, dude. What is he playing? What the?
This game is fucking dog shit.
Continues to queue up next match.
Oh les frères, let's go, on est bien parti. Lâche-moi, toi. Lâche-moi. T'as pas de vie. Putain, tu vas la chier, tu passes pas, c'est un chien. Mais lâchez-moi.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, he's not gonna...
Is he getting mad in French?
What?
What?
Is he assaulting the mic?
What the fuck?
Oh, he's getting pinged. He's getting pinged.
Dude, how do you be French and get mad at a video game? How do you not realize how silly you sound?
Oh my god. He's gonna piss.
I'm getting pissed.
He's gonna piss.
Behind. He's in middle of lead.
Oh my god! Nice. Not nice.
Thanks for the 100, mister.
Why? I'm never gonna watch this with an eye tracker, dude.
Okay.
He's gonna miss. How are there so many Fall Guys ragers, dude? Why does he have JoJo Siwa as a stand-up thing? What?
Nice. Love that 3-second mark.
Oh my god, the whole team. Jesus. Jesus. That's hardly even gamer rage. Wait, I want to see that again. Should I play that game, chat? Should I play that game? Is that the what is that? The one? Mortuary assistant. Dude, I would have my pants.
That's why I don't play it.
I would have lost it. Oh my god. Okay, wait.
I would have
dude,
shit
chat,
and piss
those
and come
compilations
all
are
over
actually a little
myself.
bit better than I thought they might be. We might have to watch more of those. YouTube. If you guys want to see me watch more of those, yo, I need to know if people want to actually watch me watch those. Bye, YouTube. Subscribe or something. Loggers.
All right.
Before I started making Silent Hill videos, I would never have guessed how many people hated The Room. To me, it was one of the last truly disturbing games in the series. It scared the hell out of me back in 2004 and still does to this day. Sure, it took things in a different direction and some things worked brilliantly while others not so much. But that doesn't mean it's inherently a bad game. Developed alongside the third installment, The Room was headed by Suguru Murakoshi with the intention of mixing the series up, something it achieved to a mixed critical response. Now you have to bear in mind, this was the early days of the Silent Hill franchise, long before the perfect trilogy had been diluted with the many questionable releases. So if you think the fan base is unreasonable now, dear mother of God, were their expectations wild when this game dropped. Full disclosure, I have a ton of nostalgia for this game. Me and my older sisters played it through together, so it's one of those games that has a special place to me. I'll be as unbiased as possible when talking about this game, but there you have it. I think Silent Hill 4 is a good game. Hell, even the marketing material holds up remarkably well to this day. It's like the trailer's haunted. If only Henry had some kind of protection, like some kind of internet protection. This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Private people that you might like, so I plan Nord didn't happen. That said, let's have a look at this truly unique experience and see why it divided the fan base. The nightmare begins with a text dump explaining our situation. We're playing as a man called Henry Townsend, who for the past 5 days has been trapped in room 302. Leaving the bed, we discover that the entire place is covered in blood and rust, and if that wasn't bad enough, from the hallway we hear a scream. Heading to investigate, we're greeted by jarring TV static, and interacting with the items around the room, it becomes clear that something's wrong. The character doesn't recognize the TV, claiming to have just bought a record player. Likewise, when we interact with a picture of Henry, the game's protagonist, we have no idea who it is. In this prelude, we're not playing as Henry. We're viewing the last moments of a previous inhabitant of the room. On the back wall, we discover a disturbing face seemingly grafted to the wall, which is somewhat alarming. Nothing will happen now until the player walks to a specific point between the living room and the front door, which will cause a cutscene to trigger.
Right, like 2 months.
The imprint on the wall is alive, and a ghostly figure is coming out to claim a victim.
Yeah, well, you just changed your name, so...
I mean, what an impactful opening. It's a giant warning that Henry can't just sit in this room, that he's in serious danger. After the title screen, we land in present day to find Henry sat on his bed, recalling one of his nightmares. Standing up, the phone begins to ring, so we head over to answer it, you know, half expecting to hear some croaky bitch mumbling about 7 days.
Maybe? I have no idea. I mean...
Despite the cord being cut, we hear a woman asking for help. We have no idea who this person is, they're clearly in trouble, but thankfully, that's not our problem. We have free control over Henry in his apartment now, and heading over to the bedroom window, we can look out. The game automatically focuses on a woman stood by the subway. Other than her pixelated short shorts, it ain't clear what draws Henry's attention to her, but from the cinematic zoom, it's implied that she's relevant in some way. Leaving the bedroom, walking down the hallway, and turning to face the front door, we encounter one of the most iconic sights in horror, the chained door to room 302. This instantly recognizable piece of imagery perfectly captures Henry's situation. What should be a normal living space has mysteriously turned into a prison. On the door, there's writing in blood. Don't go out, Walter. Another mystery that doesn't mean anything to the player at this point. There is, however, a peephole on the door that you can look through at any time. And looking through it, we discover our neighbor living her normal life with no idea that Henry is trapped just a few feet away.
My luck changes before the party.
On the wall behind, we see 15 bloody handprints, something no one else appears to see. Exploring the room, minus the rust, it's exactly the same as before, although the picture of Henry is missing, but I think that was just added for providing context more than anything else. You can look out the windows at any time, facing an entire world you cannot interact with. You can even bang on the window to no avail. This world is existing without you. Also, how f***ing funny is the rendering of the civilians? They look like a PS1 remake. I do not remember them looking so bad in comparison to the rest of the game when I first played it. I mean, I get why. Rendering an entire city view was significantly more taxing than anything else in the game. Normally, at best, you'll see a chunk of a building or a small section of forest. Having to render an entire view with a bunch of people walking about and cars and buildings, they had no choice but to drop their polygon count. After banging on the window till our knuckles bleed, we hear a sound coming from the bathroom, inside of which we make a bizarre discovery.
What the hell?
A tunnel with an unknown destination has appeared. There's a steel pipe blocking our way, which we take and use as our first weapon. Then we have a choice. Do we enter or not? I love that you have a choice here because it's such a redundant option. What alternative does Henry have? Sit in the room until he goes mad, destined to meet the same fate as the man from our past vision? I think the beginning of the room really sells the core theme the game is trying to capture. Isolation. What should be his safe space, his home, is now his oppressor, keeping him against his will. Looking out the window or through the peephole and seeing people living their normal lives, banging for their attention to no avail, it leaves you feeling hopeless in a way that few other games have managed. Regardless, with no other choice, we take the plunge and enter the hole. Inside, we have to manually push forward, heading towards the light at the end for a really long duration. They were trying to subtly give the player the feeling that they've gone too far, that there's no point in turning back. Forward is the only way. The scene cuts to a long, out-of-place escalator. Sat on the step, we find Henry, seemingly dejected, taking in the scenery. Much like us, he doesn't appear to understand the transition from a tunnel to being sat on these steps, but regardless, we arrive at the bottom and we're in control again. The first-person view is gone, returning to its traditional third-person fixed camera. Walking down the long hallway, it becomes clear we're in a subway, and up ahead, there's a mysterious woman stood with an almost vacant stillness. There are constant references to dreaming throughout this game, and this section really conveys that feeling. Between the room, the hole, and the escalator, it all has a dreamlike bizarreness to it that almost makes her appearance feel understandable. Approaching her, we introduce ourselves and try to make sense of the situation.
This is my dream, and you don't even know my name. It's Cynthia.
Your dream.
That's right. This is just a dream.
Yeah.
And a really terrible one, too.
Okay, so this is Cynthia, and she believes she's fully dreaming right now, which explains her blasé attitude, and if my low to high polygon skill is working correctly, this is the same woman we saw earlier heading into the subway. Now we just need to figure out why we're both here. Heading towards the lobby, and without any warning, Cynthia keels over.
I think I'm gonna puke.
Feeling violently ill, she darts towards the nearby bathroom to be sick. Henry doesn't follow her in and instead waits outside. After an unknown amount of time, the men's toilet begins to open. From the door, the body of a creature flies out. These are called sniffers, the game's first enemy. They're more or less a dog, but they have long, snake-like tongues that they use to feed, and their cries when attacked are like a cheetah's or some other high-pitched animal. This is the first taste of combat, and it's as janky as you'd expect from a traditional Silent Hill experience. We are, after all, just some ordinary dude with a pipe fighting demons from hell. The combat basically breaks down to spam attacking and just hoping you get the first hit off, but I'll take this over combat rolls and executions any day of the week. With the dog dispatched, we head into the woman's toilet to see what's going on, only to find them completely empty. Cynthia's nowhere to be found, and instead, there's a giant hole in the wall. Get used to these. They allow us to freely travel back and forth between our room and the other world, something you'll be doing a lot.
What? Another dream. But it seems so real.
The room lets us store and retrieve items, but more importantly, it automatically heals any and all damage. Some people weren't too fond of this at the time, but I never understood the hate. I thought it added to the game's experience. It's all about the room. It oppresses us, holding Henry hostage, but also it's the only thing keeping us alive. It adds a nice duality that only gets better later in the game. While healing back at the room, Henry notices something strange. His corner stand has shifted position. Inspecting it closer, we discover a gun, along with someone's attempt to dig their way out. On the wall, there's a scribbled note. I've somehow managed to tunnel this far, but no matter what I do, I can't get any further. We grab the gun, which Henry seems in no way startled by. I often find a 9mm under my sofa when I do a bit of light dusting. We look through the hole and discover it looks straight into our neighbor Eileen's room. This shows how desperate the previous occupant was to escape. He literally tried digging his way through the wall, but whatever power is keeping them in the room is preventing the tunnel from growing and also stopping any sounds from passing through. The hole itself almost gives off a perverted vibe, but it's one of the only links to humanity Henry has left. Also, the keen-eyed among you might notice the infamous Robbie Rabbit doll sitting on her bed. Up to no good, have no doubt. With our new get, the phone rings once again.
Where did you go? Hurry! Save me!
It was Cynthia asking where the F we went. All of a sudden, she's a bit pressed. It's just a dream.
Bitch needs a man to save her now.
So we head back through
white
the tunnel,
man at that.
arriving in the same toilet, except this time something's different. There's a mannequin in the stall, one that clearly resembles Cynthia, grasping a subway token with bloodied hands. We take the token, giving us access to the lower part of the station, but the question still remains, is this a mannequin that looks like Cynthia, or has some weird power turned her into one? In the lobby, we fight a few more dogs dogs, and from here we can head through the turnstile using our tokens, or we can head up through the northern tunnel, at the end of which we encounter 2 dogs and this pulsating worm-like creature burrowing into the wall. This thing is interesting. It appears to serve no purpose. You can attack it, causing it to wince, but that's all. It never does anything. Despite appearing in multiple locations throughout the game, it serves no real purpose. That being said, one of the game's biggest themes is maternity and childbirth, so it's possible that this creature represents an umbilical cord. Perhaps this umbilical creature is burrowing holes, creating connections between the multiple dimensions, kind of like an umbilical cord creating connections between the mother and the child, or maybe it's just a fucking gross worm. Using our token, we descend to the lower platform when, from the wall, a ghostly apparition appears. So, yeah, ghosts are one of the main enemies in this game, and they were without doubt the most controversial point of this game. Some people hated them, and I cannot decide where I sit. On one hand, they are terrifying. The pressure they apply with the unstoppable chase makes the areas they haunt a nightmare, but good lord, are they annoying. Putting out a constant area of effect damage, and on top of that, they have a grab attack if you get too close. The ghosts can make it hard to appreciate the amount of care and detail that went into the environment design. Because you're constantly running, you can't appreciate the little disturbing details as much as you could in previous games. It's a conflicting one, and how you feel about them is kind of make or break on how you feel about the game as a whole, because they're a huge part. I think the game would have benefited immensely if they had just waited one whole level before dropping them on us. That would at least give new players one level to explore and get invested before most areas became a giant game of kissy catch. You can fight back and eventually even get tools to put them down for good. That, alongside the regular killable enemies, meant it didn't spoil the experience for me personally. Anyway, Cynthia's trapped in one of the carriages and the doors won't open, so we have to run all the way down the platform and use the control panel to open the doors. This releases Cynthia, who will start following us again, although the ghosts completely ignore her and focus solely on us, something you'll love to see. We need to reach the other side of the platform, and to do so, we have to work our way through the maze of train carts, hopping between them in a rather confusing manner.
It hasn't really started taking shape. Not for a little bit, at least.
The weird squelching sound with each step.
Couple more rounds, maybe.
The ground is grey and moist, and entering one of the further carts, we see the floor suspended with hooks. It's skin. The floor is made of skin.
We're getting
Very
it.
Hellraiser. On the opposite platform, the only way forward is through a maintenance room at the back. Heading inside, Cynthia pulls a Houdini. She doesn't follow us in. She gone. You can head back out and look for her, but she's nowhere to be found, and the area is filled with ghosts, so we have no choice but to leave her, heading down a ladder to an underground tunnel. This area is classic Silent Hill, a metal grate with red gore covering the walls. I don't know if it's weird to call this aesthetic nostalgia,
starting
but
with
I mean,
white. I'm going to do one
like
round of white,
down, we emerge in the lowest platform,
and then I'm going to start doing what
I
over
the PA system.
Doing the entire point of all this. Socks looking wearable. Yeah, if you can wear those, you go right ahead.
Maybe, Cynthia, you'd be safer if you, I don't know, you just
definitely not wearable yet.
For no reason. I feel like the game wasn't sure what to do with her AI at this stage.
Once they get the actual pattern going with the ribbing,
and then disappears for no reason.
You'll see exactly what I'm going for here.
Weird.
Then it'll actually look
Further
good.
down, we find the escalator that takes us up to Cynthia. Stepping on, we ride up an improbably long escalator, a journey that's punctuated by these lovely little wall f***ers. Their attack patterns are random and their hitboxes a sick joke, so getting past them feels more like a random number generator than a tactical operation. The best you can hope for is that the asshole hit you full force upward, saving you some time, and I smack on the tush.
Cool.
Once through, we arrive at the turnstile to find makeup scattered all around. It's Cynthia's, and on the door to the ticket office, we find a plaque with the word temptation engraved on it. We take it and head inside to find a very violent scene with copyrighted music.
Oh no.
In a way, the fact that
Yeah,
Cynthia thinks
yeah.
it's just a dream makes her death even sadder.
Well,
It's
they're
made
in
her
pink so
cavalier
far.
and take risks that ultimately got her killed. Something she doesn't seem
The
to
pink, the
realize
highlighted
until
areas
it's too
are at
late.
least
There's
going
a
to be
number
pink.
engraved on her chest.
It's going to be red and white on the
16121.
inside of it.
This number doesn't mean anything to us yet, but pieces
Going
of the
for that
puzzle are
candy
starting to
look.
mount up. Henry stands over the body and the camera pans out. Henry wakes up in his bedroom sometime later. You might think at this point, perhaps it was just a dream, but this possibility is quickly diminished when we hear sirens outside our window.
Yeah, I bet it tastes like candy.
What's that
Yeah,
noise out there?
that would be nice.
Looking out, an
wouldn't it?
ambulance is just outside the subway, and if that wasn't evidence
Be nice
enough,
to get some
in the
scented
living room,
yarn.
we hear
That'd be
this
nice.
radio announcement.
Quit yapping and move her already. She's got numbers carved into her chest.
Oh no.
What happens in the other world happens in the real world. And looking through the front door's peephole, we see a very concerning sight. There's another bloody handprint on the wall, a fresh
Oh.
one. There's now 16 handprints in total. And
Oh,
I love this kind of
good.
storytelling. It's subtle, easy to miss, but impactful. This handprint means nothing and yet everything all at once.
Oh, so it means jack shit anyway. Okay, cool.
Waking up,
Nice.
Henry sat in the middle of a forest, another confusing and illogical arrival. Down the path, we find a car parked up somewhere it physically shouldn't be able to reach. It's still running, and after investigating, we find a note with one particularly interesting line. It's been a while since I came here, to
Yeah, a
Silent
couple
Hill.
old
So this
coins
isn't
recently.
any old forest. This is a forest
Saving them
just
for
on
the
the
future.
outskirts of
Oh.
Silent Hill, which makes it the
Cool.
first and only location
That's good.
in Silent Hill we visit. A common myth
guess.
is that the game was never made to be Silent Hill,
Don't
but
really know
started
what
out
to
as
say.
a separate horror franchise and had the Silent Hill name slapped on at a later stage. This has been disproven and is nothing more than an internet myth, but it's often used when the game receives criticism. Yes, the developers wanted to try something completely different, hence the ghosts and so on, but from the earlier stages, this game was always intended to take place within the Silent Hill universe. But back to this car. The note is signed Jasper, so it raises the question, where has this man disappeared? A question that is quickly answered in the area just below. Sat between two large rocks, we find him just chilling.
There was another guy here before, a real nosy guy.
He appears to know a lot about the area, claiming that an orphanage up ahead was run by a cult where they'd done all kinds of horrible things to the children. This cult being the Cult of the Order, the same one that's been present across all the games.
The time is nigh.
It doesn't take long before we stumble across this building, known as the Wish House. The front door is locked, so we have to look elsewhere. There are 3 paths we can take, with 2
got
of
'em
them
for real
offering little
cheap.
more than dead
That kinda
ends,
shows
and a
most
nice
people don't
Easter
care
egg,
about
a
the
view of
value for
Toluca
now.
Lake, the same one that plays a
Maybe,
massive role in the
or they
second
know they
game.
won't have
Following
value
the
in the
path up,
future at
another
all.
ghost appears, wearing a
never
pair of
know.
overalls and wielding a trowel that he uses as a weapon. Running
You're
around
just hoping
him
they
and
have
heading through
value
the door, we
in the
arrive at
future.
a graveyard to find a young child
For all
just
you know,
stood there.
they might not.
I honestly thought this was a cutscene and that they were just having an intense stare-off, but you actually have to walk forward to begin the cutscene. I'm a dumbass.
Little boy, what are you doing here?
Finally, the third revelation. Something's gonna happen. That nosy guy that was here, he said it too. Something big is gonna happen.
Jasper turns up, spouting shite about a third revelation and some nosy man that claimed something will happen. The 2 of them run off and we're left absolutely dumbfounded. What was all this talk of the third revelation and who is that child? It's all very confusing. There's nothing to find in the graveyard except an empty coffin in the middle with the body having been dug up and the number 11121 written on the box, similar to the number we found on Cynthia. There isn't anything else we can do here and we have to backtrack to the orphanage. Outside the front door, we find Jasper again, who
Not
has
necessarily,
an
but
interesting offer.
hopefully.
Nosy guy gave me something really good. I'm
But well, yeah, you'll see. You'll find out one day.
thirsty. Oh, chocolate. Oh,
The stupid piece
You
of
gonna
shit
cum in his
wants a
pants?
chocolate
What the
drink
fuck?
before he'll give it to us. Unfortunately, battering him isn't an option. So please, wait right here, friend, while I sort something. This part was wild because it could so easily
Okay.
fuck you up if you don't think about the puzzle abstractly.
the other
Where do we
fucking
find this
fun
drink?
part.
You can run up every path and find nothing. Run in circles, nothing. Where the milk at? Well, the situation is so
Where the
simple,
milk,
I
where the
think
milk,
it
where
would
the
have
milk
thrown a
at?
lot of people
Have a
off.
brother
We
in
need
the
to
cut
head
with
back
a-
through the tunnel into our kitchen and grab chocolate milk from our fridge to bring back to him. Because we haven't used the room for problems in the other world yet, it's not something you would naturally think to do, but here we are. We have the milk and return it to Jasper.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Oh man.
And what is
Oh,
this
why did he
mystical
like that
item you
milk
wanted
so
to give
much?
to us?
What the
A
fuck?
trowel. Oh, Jasper, you suck so bad. Written on the trowel is a message. Opposite where the lake and the house meet, inside the hand holding the
He's lucky to
ground.
find a
It's another
penny from
segment requiring us to
1892 in there.
vaguely hunt down something,
like,
although
yeah,
this
he's
time the
pretty old.
solution is more obvious. On one of the paths that
Hopefully it's
previously
actually
offered a
worth
dead end,
something. That'd
we
be
hear a
nice.
scream. And turning round, we find a tree root that looks very much so like a pair of hands trying to claw their way out. Digging with our trowel, we find a rusty key with another ominous proclamation. The holder of this key will wander for an eternity. Well, that sounds like harmless rhetoric we can just ignore. Heading towards the wish house through a long forest section, something isn't right. The screen has a blurring static effect, and when we pass through the bottom gate, it brings us back to the beginning.
Hold on.
Try as we
This
will,
is the
we're
hard
stuck.
part here,
The holder
getting-
of this key will wander for an
this shit
eternity.
right.
But what do? We need the key. Well, the solution requires some out-of-the-box thinking again. Or should I say, inside-of-the-box thinking. Teehee. We can store the key in our storage box, allowing us to pass through the forest, then use the tunnel in front of the orphanage to retrieve it, bypassing the magical forest. Key in hand, we unlock the door and head inside, getting a fucking jump scare when Jasper enters out of the blue. Honestly, I shit myself when he swaggered in. On the floor, we find a note asking how Walter's progress is coming along, and more interestingly, asking if they found Alessa, a reference to Alessa Gillespie, a major character from the first and third game. The building is abandoned without much to investigate other than a document on the floor that outlines some bizarre ritual. After reading through these documents, we hear the door next to us open, with crying and smoke coming from within. On the door, we find another plaque, the source, and inside, we find Jasper engulfed in flames. He's carving the number 1712 on his chest and screaming about having met the devil before he collapses.
A special news report.
Okay.
In a forest near Silent Hill, the burned corpse of a 30-year-old male was discovered earlier today. Due to the marks on the victim, the police are investigating possible links to the Walter Sullivan case 10 years ago.
Same as before, the
Yeah,
radio
I should
reports
probably-
another body, and interestingly, they remark on the crime's
I gotta look this
similarity
shit
to
up.
a series of murders that took place 10 years ago. A case that relates to a man named Walter Sullivan,
fuck this
the
part
same
up.
name we found on our door. These plaques, the prints, the murders, they're all connected. We just need to figure out why. Heading back to the spooky glory hole, it's much larger now, and we can even hear children's voices echoing from the other end. Which, you know, that's just too enticing. I'm jumping in head first. Into the fray once more, we find Henry sprawled out on a dirty floor, waking to the immediate sound of someone pleading for help, claiming that Walter is going to kill him.
Alright, hold on. I gotta Google this again. Oh yeah, if it doesn't sell, melting it'd probably be the best thing to do.
This is a video on working corrugated rib.
Yeah, I know,
Pick
come on.
to knit one, purl one, when you're changing from a one fabric color to another front of the work. You would end up with this purl bump showing through in the blue column. So in order to avoid that, what you can do is when you're doing the ribbing with two colors, the very first row just work each stitch as a knit stitch. Don't work any purl stitches. Now we're going to switch to the other needle. I've already done all of the knits
okay.
in both colors. And we'll start out with the second row. And the yarn that I'm going to be working as the knit stitches with, and now we're moving to the new needle. I bring the old needle cable around the front of the work, and that holds these tight when we're changing nice and round. So we're going to knit with the white. Now we're going to purl with the blue. The blue has to come to the front, and we're going to purl. Knit with the white, bring the blue to the front, purl, take the blue to the back, knit, white, blue to the front, going through at the bases of our blue purl.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's it.
Reaching a cell, we can't speak to the man, which is weird. The dude can literally place his entire fist in Henry's mouth, and he's quiet as a choir mouse.
Kill me!
If you haven't noticed by now, Henry doesn't have much to say. No matter how weird shit gets, he just shrugs it off. What the hell? As a character, he's maybe not the best. All his lines are weak and disinterested, which is a typical theme with Silent Hill characters, but in the other games, they're generally speaking meant to be weird, mentally disturbed people. This is just a dude living in a flat. Of all the characters in the game, he should be the most vocal about how messed up things are. In any case, the question of where we are should be pretty clear now. This is a prison, and what's even creepier is that the cells are designed with a giant peephole where the wardens can constantly spy on the prisoners. This could even be seen as a reference to the ominous viewing hole in our living room, just an inversed version. Leaving the first floor, we stumble across another tunnel. I didn't need to heal, but it's always worth heading back when you encounter these holes, just in case there's some interesting encounters. In this case, for example, looking through our peephole, we can see Eileen watching TV, laughing like an absolute degenerate. Once back, there are two doors. One is locked and the other heads downwards along a huge metallic ramp littered with the same wall creatures from earlier. The music here is simply phenomenal, running in what feels like an endless circle downwards with the camera stalking you from above. It was really well crafted.
Yeah, I'm making a pair of socks both at once.
At the bottom, there's a large water pump. The water isn't running. Not ideal because I imagine having the power
It's just kind of cumbersome.
For our progression. There's a door in this room, and heading through it, we're greeted with a comically large door on the opposite side.
But yeah, working them two at a
We
time.
can't open it with Henry.
Because that way you
remarking,
don't
"I
have to
can't
actually
open it
count
very wide."
much.
I'm not sure if that's an iffy translation because he can't open
If that
it
makes
at all.
sense.
He can't even
If you
reach
do
the
them one at
handle
a time, you
on it,
have
so
to keep
I'm not
track
sure
of,
why
like,
he
you
would
know,
say
how
he
many
can't open it
rows,
very wide, but
you know,
who
how
knows?
many,
On the side
you
by the
know,
wall
how much
we
other
find a
bullshit
key
you
that
do.
gives us access to the upper
You do them
levels,
two at a
along with
time, you just
instructions on
do
how to
it
get the power back on. There's
at
a
the
big
same
reservoir
time.
on the roof, and we need to open the sluice gate to get
But-
the juices
yeah,
flowing
but
again.
yeah, it does. Yeah, it makes it just a hell of a lot easier.
Using the key, we find ourselves outside the structure.
Because
for the
otherwise,
first
I would
time,
have to. If
only
I was
to
doing one at a
discover
time,
how stranded we
at
are.
certain points, I'd have
Not
to
only is
stop
this a
and count how
prison,
many
but
rows
it's
I've
in the middle
done.
of nowhere. It's a water prison.
And that takes,
Entering the second
you know, my
floor,
dumb
we
ass
stumble
too much
across a lot
time.
more context, namely that the prisoners appear to be children. All the notes are written in children's handwriting.
so, yeah, doing them two at a
portray
time.
them as scared, helpless individuals.
It's a little
constantly
cumbersome,
under
but
watch
it
from the central
yeah,
chamber.
but
It's pretty
as far as
horrific.
time goes, it saves a lot more time
Heading up
than
another
anything.
floor, it's business as usual, exploring the cells until we reach the halfway point and this abomination randomly charges at us. I love that it just drops the enemy on you without ceremony. No grand reveal, just boom, new disturbing enemy.
Oh,
These creatures are
motherfucker.
called the twin victims, and they represent a pair of twins that were murdered years ago. A double murder that was actually mentioned in a news article James finds in Silent Hill 2. Instead of appearing as two separate ghosts, they manifest as this monster. Heading up to the final level, we arrive on the roof and open the sluice gate, turning the power back on. Absolute result. With the lights on, we turn our attention to the mysterious holes present in the cells, because we need to make our way down. We're in the central chamber now, the mysterious area the guards would use to spy, and you can even look through each hole into the different cells.
Bonsoir.
On a table, we find a diary that outlines the horrific tale that unfolded here. This was a prison for children, specifically children that belonged to the wishing house. And to make matters worse, because of the prison's deterioration, the majority of the cells were sealed permanently. The kids were stuck, and they didn't even know it. I can't open the doors, but from this room, I can watch them get more and more emaciated each day. With no food and never showering themselves, they turn into smelly little grey lumps. It then goes on to explain the purpose of the holes. They apparently drilled them in to dispose of the bodies. And I mean, if you had this level of ingenuity, surely just fixing the doors would have been easier, but hey, who am I to judge? There's one more note on the wall in this area, and it has the code for a secret door behind the kitchen. We just need to find the kitchen. With no better leads, the only option the player has is to follow the bodies through the disposal chute. Slowly, we align all the cells, and once complete, we get a cutscene from the prisoner we saw earlier, showing that his cell has mysteriously opened. Descending the ladder on our way to the hole, we find the prisoner and the young child from earlier having a conversation.
Stay in there, Walter, I'm telling you, stay down. Hey, that kid Walter, he was really into that mumbo jumbo. Especially that descent of the Holy Mother business. Scary. Oh God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
There's a lot to unpack with that. This child is apparently Walter Sullivan, the
say
same person involved in a
Yeah.
series of murders that happened many
It's
years
weird.
ago.
He
The
pronounces
kid was
shit
no
so
older than
weird
10
sometimes.
himself.
That kid Walter, he was really into that.
Like, in the
When
Beninging.
the cutscene finishes, a bunch of grey pole-like creatures rise from the ground. They don't attack, they can only hurt us if we walk into them, so they're not a real threat.
Your
And they might
average
be a
YouTuber.
stretch, but I think these could represent the many youngins that passed in this prison. They only appear when the tunnel is aligned, and in the diary upstairs, they refer to the starving kids as smelly little grey lumps, which is kind of how you might describe these creatures. Making our way to the 3rd floor, we begin our descent through the body chute, jumping down the 3 levels until eventually we reach our destination. It's a kitchen. The implication here is extremely alarming. The disposal chute leads right into the kitchen, where food for the other prisoners is prepared. But the good news is we know the code for the door on the note we found earlier, and at said door we find another plaque, this time for watchfulness. This is a very bad sign because, as you should know by now, anything that precedes one of these bad boys, well, it's usually nothing pretty. Using the code, which is actually the same number as our room, 0302, we enter what has been referred to up to this point as the torture room behind the kitchen. Walking forward, we find Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
Henry looks at the scene like a disappointed father before another dip to black. Back in our room, we hear a sound coming from the bathroom. And inside, we find the bath covered in blood. Things are heating up. We're now in an urban area. After taking a few steps, we see an army of monsters above us. That's concerning. Exploring the area, we discover that the geometry is completely broken, with a car park just sitting bizarrely on top of the building. How are they parking that bad boy? They're pulling a Battlefield 2042. Down a flight of steps, a new enemy drops in front of us. This dench mofo is comically known as Gumhead or Rubberface. It's a humanoid creature whose faces are almost melting. It appears to be an amalgamation of different animals. Their behavior and attack patterns are distinctly ape-like. But they make all kinds of sounds when damaged, much like the sniffers. Once he's dealt with, we descend further. All the while, a chaotic amount of noise is surrounding us. Animal scratches and gunfire are ringing out non-stop until from the sky, a man drops.
Ouch! Damn it.
Man just fell 7 stories and hits us with an ouch, damn it. F***ing trooper.
My name's Henry. I'm Richard Braintree, from 207. What the hell's happened to us? That hole in this freaky world. But if you're here too, then there must be something wrong with the whole apartment building.
After an awkward exchange, he heads inside, allowing more gumheads to ambush us. And you know what? I appreciate nothing more in a monster than having the courtesy to wait your turn to fight. A true gentleman. Entering the building, something is immediately wrong. Unless someone's ripping a fat bong, this can't be good. Inside the room, we find a ghost, except this one's immobile, pinned to the ground with a special sword, an item known as the Sword of Obedience. There are only 5 in the world, and they have a special power that allows spirits to be permanently pinned. It's important to keep these for a later point, so we grab it and do the mad dash before the dude gets up again. Running down to a sports shop, we find a new weapon, a baseball bat, a classic weapon able to deal more damage at a slightly shorter range. It'll come in handy. I dropped off our old weapon in the storage box, and while there, peeked out the window only to find a new message scribbled across the wall. Better check on your neighbor soon. But is this message meant for Eileen or Richard?
I'm getting the hell out of here.
In the other world, we pass through a pet shop, enter a lift, and head down. Along the way, we see Richard speaking to Walter, a child Richard appears to have some kind of history with.
You look a lot like a little punk that I once caught sneaking around there. Do you know something about what's going on? Hey, you! Stop!
Eventually, Henry arrives at a bar Southfield to be specific, where his progress is blocked by a locked door with a keypad. Thankfully, there's a note on the bar that shines some light on the situation. The number is the last 4 digits of the store's phone number, but the number is written right there on the roof. Anybody could see it from South Ashfield Street. So, heading through the hole, we look out our window and tickle my pickle. There's our code, 3750. Another sneaky use of the room for puzzle solving. Through the locked door, a ghost spawns just behind us and will relentlessly chase us up this looping staircase, which goes on and on. It gets to a stage where you start to doubt yourself. You can't look up or down, so it can feel like you're going nowhere. It almost tricks you into turning around, but if you persevere, you eventually arrive at the top, finding a door to room 207 with another plaque. This time for chaos. Inside, we find Walter looking out the window with Richard being electrocuted. After an excruciating few moments where he claims Walter is no child, he eventually succumbs to his execution. Back in the room, if we decide to look out the window towards room 207, you'll see a strange man stood in the window pointing to room 303, to Eileen's room.
Looks like another one, Captain. Got 121 on his head. It's just like that case from 10 years ago.
This visit begins slightly different to the others, as it focuses on a person we've not seen before knocking on room 303. This appears to be the same man we saw in the window earlier looking at Eileen's room. We're actually in our very own apartment block, just outside our room, the only area that isn't affected by the corruption. It's a small patch of normality in the rusted chaos. Walter himself also appears, knocking on the door and asking for his mum, but when you walk close to him, he instantly disappears.
Oh, they will be.
Eileen's door is locked, and finding a key is the main goal of this level. In the flat just to the right,
so most socks that I've made are cozy for as long as they last.
Reference turns out
they
to
just
be
don't last
Frank
very long.
Sunderland, the
That's the
father
problem.
of James from the second game. His flat is number 105, and that's where we have to head. But first, there are more letters under our door. Grabbing them,
yeah, they
we
will
learn
be
some
cozy.
crucial
That
details.
is for
the
sure.
numbers on the bodies, we've been reading them wrong. There isn't a 1 in the middle; it's a dash, meaning the kills were being counted out of 21.
Yeah.
Walter is already 19
coming
down,
along.
only 2 more to go. We just don't know to what end. In the stairwell, we find the strange dude that was knocking on Eileen's door. It should be pretty obvious who this man is, but we'll suspend conclusions for the sake of seeing the plot through. We're almost there.
I got this.
Oh, I know that feeling. I'll wear socks
He's
until they
sitting holding
develop
a doll.
holes.
A doll that, according to him, Eileen gave to him
And
years
then I'll
ago,
put on a new
which
pair.
He offers to us.
Here.
So that's
I'll give it to you.
fucked
Now
up.
this is a really f***y offer, because horror games have taught us to take everything we find in case we need it, but for reasons I'll explain later, we do not want to take this doll. It will screw us over. Inside Frank's room, we find a journal talking about how a woman gave birth in room 305 before abandoning the baby. This abandoned child is the Walter kid we've seen on our journey. We grab his master key, which means we now have access
Did you
to
ever
every
patch the
flat in the
holes?
block
Nope.
and could explore them to our heart's content. Starting
Whenever
with
I make
106,
socks, whenever
which
they get
belongs to
holes
a
in them,
nurse.
I just
Likely a
retire
reference
them.
to the nurses from previous games. Hell, the iconic outfit is even
So,
lying on the bed.
it gives me an
But there's a
excuse to
phone
make
in her
more,
room we can use, and
usually.
once you do that, a phone will ring out without end until you find its source.
Plus, I haven't found a good enough yarn that's
The ringing
durable
is
enough that
awful.
I'd
It
want
never
to really
stops
make
and
socks out of.
constantly sounds like it's ringing right inside
This is
your
just
actual
acrylic,
ear hole. It
so
should
it
be this
wears out
loud
really
just
easily.
outside the door. Not only is it annoying, but it makes it almost impossible to accurately track where the noise is coming from because there's no range of volume. And it doesn't help that the rooms are ram-packed with ghosts where they really just shine. You know, shine light on how f***ing annoying they are. In these small rooms, the ghosts are a pain. This level is probably my least favourite. The ghosts are unrelenting, although I am glad the developers allowed Henry to push through them. If they blocked our way and cornered you in these rooms, I'd have yeeted my desktop out the window. Eventually, we find the phone in apartment 202 and turn it off. I don't understand what the point of the phone ringing was. It serves no purpose other than being incredibly annoying. You can find this room regardless. I don't get it. There isn't even anything great in this particular flat.
That's the point.
Once we've gathered all the letters around the building and posted them, we return to our room and discover that the key to Eileen's flat was hidden down the side of our bed the whole time. Strolling over, what do you know? There it is. I reiterate, not a huge fan of this level. Key in hand, we head over to room 303, and just before arriving, we hear a scream. Opening the door, we find Eileen having been made another victim. In the real world,
Sucks.
an ambulance is
Animal
leaving the block,
hide,
and
feel
looking
like
through the hole, we
probably
get a
really
spook as
uncomfortable.
Robbie is now covered in blood and pointing right at us, almost as if it's blaming us directly for Eileen's situation.
So they
And
took
really
the
hard to get on.
Jerome's, yeah, she's not gonna make it. She had numbers in her back too.
We don't know where the hole will take us next, but for Eileen's sake, we have to try something, and entering the bathroom, we discover that the hole is gone. It's completely sealed.
Can't
Our only
imagine it'd be
access to
warm
the
at all.
outside world is shut off. With no idea what to do, we walk into the living room and find something under the door. A succubus talisman. But what do we do with it? Looking around high and low,
suck?
it's not until Henry checks his utility room that he finds something. There's a mark on the wall, and placing the talisman on it, 4 slots open, each one relating to the 4 plaques that we found with each victim. Taking them and placing them accordingly, a new hole is created. This time, a complete version, and we head in. We're instantly met with recognizable surroundings, and in front of us, the stranger from the apartment is up to no good with a cadaver, a body that is designed to look just like Claudia Wolf.
Ew, okay.
Henry leaves the room as the man presses forward, but I wasn't having it. I went back in to pummel the lad, only to find that the body had transformed into a monster, something simply known as the Patient, and upon hitting it, you will be taken aback. The creature appears to burp when you hit it, which at first is hilariously comical. Why would they design something that sounds like it's burping when you hit it? Well, looking into its meaning, it gets kinda dark. The outstanding theory is that the noise is actually gases produced from a decomposing body, specifically when their internal organs have been removed, creating a hollow chamber in their abdomen. Obviously, it's still funny, but at least this explanation gives it more brevity than haha, big gal go burp. There's not much on the first floor other than the doctor's office where we find a spread pertaining to Eileen's case. Here, we actually see a few moments of humanity from Henry, who genuinely seems to care for her safety.
Why?
On the floor down the hall, we find a purse, and judging by Henry's reaction, it's gotta be Eileen's. This could cause damage, Henry unironically thinks while picking up a woman's purse. Upstairs, we land in a long hallway filled with haunted wheelchairs, which on paper sounds scary, but in execution is among the dumbest enemy design ever. I can't look at these things without being reminded of the wheelchair scene from Scary Movie 2. That scene completely ruined these guys for me. There's a ton of little rooms here, and we can enter every single one. And at random, one of the rooms will contain a truly unsettling visual. A giant twitching version of Eileen's head staring at Henry. It's something that straddles the line between being hilarious and utterly disturbing, but it is one hell of a memorable sight. It's something you can recognize instantly. Right at the very end of this hallway, we find what we're looking for. Eileen, bruised, beaten, and shit scared, but alive.
This place. Where is it anyway?
No idea.
I don't know either. But I do know that if you get killed here, then you die in the real world too. Anyway, the only way out of here is through that hole.
After convincing her that we really are up shit creek and do not in fact have a paddle, we decide that the best course of action is to take her back to our room via the hole. We guide her down and head in. Waking up, she's not there. But more than that, something's wrong with the room. It's dark, and Henry even remarks that the place feels oppressive. Something's happening with the room. Under the front door, there's a letter containing a small key and a mysterious note encouraging us to keep going down to the deepest part of him and to look for the ultimate truth. More riddles for us to unravel, but for now, we need to help Eileen, so we head back to find her stood where we left her.
I got this letter from him. He told me to go down into the deepest part of him, and to look for the ultimate truth. Let's do that. There must be something down there.
So the plan is for us to work together to find Joseph and get to the bottom of these murders, which means that for the rest of the game, we have to escort Eileen. Another point that swayed a lot of public opinion, which I can understand. Escort missions are a pain in the ass, and it's extra annoying when the AI is slower than you, needs to be right beside you to travel to the next room, and can take damage. The cherry on top, if they take too much damage, you get a bad ending. In fairness, her AI isn't too bad. She's usually decent at following you, and if you equip her with one of the various weapons, she can actually help you out fairly effectively.
I can't imagine how cozy and knitted blanket would
pass through
feel.
the lift, arriving at a large staircase
Very,
with multiple patients, and you cannot tell
depending on
me
what
that
it's
this
made
scene
of.
wasn't orchestrated for comedic effect, because when you knock one down,
not that difficult
they
to
descend
imagine.
the entire staircase, burping with each step. This has to have been a joke. I refuse to hear other
big
opinions.
yarn,
Beyond the door at the bottom,
the big
we
yarn
find
stuff,
ourselves on a foggy, winding walkway
It's
spiraling
okay.
downward. This area is how Henry will
Depends
traverse
on what
from
it's
one
made out
location
of
to
again.
another,
Just
descending this spiral each time. Something that
Mostly
frightens
it'll be
Eileen.
warm, but would it actually feel
At the bottom,
soft?
we
I
find a
don't know.
door, and heading through, the location feels
Just
familiar.
depends.
Turning the corner, we find the escalator. We're back in the subway. As I alluded to earlier, the game breaks down into two halves. In the first half, we explore 4 locations as Henry on his own. Then in the second half, we have to go through
Yeah,
the same
that's
4 locations, this
coming
time
along a
escorting
little bit.
Eileen. There are some changes,
Gives
new
an
enemies,
idea
new
of how this is
puzzles, and a
gonna
few
come out.
new locations, but there's no denying that a game only having 4 areas that you repeat for the second half could be seen as a lazy way of increasing longevity. Anyway, having ate some damage, I decided to head back to the room and heal up, but something's wrong. The room's haunted, and it's not healing us. From this point on, we can't heal while in the room. We have to rely on healing items we find in the world. Random hauntings will also start to occupy the room, which damage Henry if they're not exorcised. It is a brilliant subversion of expectation. When the game begins, the room's unsettling and disturbing. Then once you understand its purpose, you feel safe in it. It's a resource you can rely on. Then all of a sudden, the rug is pulled. Not only does the room not help you, but it actively hurts us. It becomes oppressive and nerve-wracking. Also, remember the doll offered to us back in the apartment? Well, taking it would lead to more frequent hauntings in the room. It's a haunted doll, and you can't get rid of it. Having to escort Eileen and the room no longer healing us, it can be a troubling combination for players, because if you've played the game wrong in the first half, you've kind of screwed yourself for the second. If you waste all your resources willy-nilly, then you'll have nothing left when you actually need it, and there's no way that you could know that the healing would stop. Something I imagine would have frustrated first-time players. Under the door, there's another letter
mean,
with yet another
what else?
key,
What,
this time
what
to a
else would
kid's
it be?
toy box. So we head back into the subway for our second run. Heading to the lobby, I expected to find more enemies waiting for us, but what we get is 10 times more terrifying. The ghost of Cynthia now haunts this area with a very Ringu appearance, long black hair, and a haunting crawling animation, sliding around the floor when attacked. This is the biggest thematic shift of the second half because every area is now haunted by the
because
ghost
heels
of its
are that
victims,
pointy.
and said ghost will reflect the way they died when we were
The
with
heel,
them.
that'll be gotten to
These ghosts are
later.
the best use case for the magic
some
swords we
point.
discussed earlier. They're significantly more
That's gonna
powerful,
be the
so it's
worst
best
part.
to keep them pinned down. And while that might seem like more effort than it's worth, because dear lord, do they take ages to beat down, it really is worth doing, because once encountered, they will relentlessly follow us into the other worlds. Using the toy box key, we unlock a chest in one of the train carts, finding a coin that gives us a key to the room where Cynthia was found. Hoops. We're jumping through hoops right now. Heading to the ladder, we realize what should have been obvious.
I can't use a ladder with my arm like this.
Eileen can't use any ladders. We have to leave her behind and quickly make our way through alone.
for a
There's
minute.
a couple of moments like this. It's a
Been knitting
well-needed
for like
break
3
from
hours.
the
I
escort
need to eat.
mechanic. Just a few moments every now and then to let us cool off. At the ticket booth, we get a crank for a train and a ticket for the turnstile, which allows Eileen to get through, bypassing the ladder. This means we have to go down the escalator of death with not only ourselves, but Eileen as well. Love those hitboxes. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning. Using the handle, we're able to shift one of the trains forward, opening our way out, and through the subway exit,
Yeah, it
the
looks
game
good.
shifts it up another gear.
Oh, thank you. At least so far, I guess. Why does this piece of chicken look so sickly?
The strange man
Tastes
that's
good.
been ever present, he plays his hand, and from now on, he will chase and attack the player relentlessly with handguns, chainsaws, and a steel pipe. It should be very obvious by now, but for those that haven't figured it out, this is Walter Sullivan, or at least a ghostly version of himself, who for some reason has split into two identities, his older psychotic self and his younger scared self. He's lost the plot and wants us dead, which is a
Need some
problem
sauce.
because no matter how hard
I
you
already
try,
have
you
enough
can't
soy
put
sauce
him
in it.
down. Even the swords won't pin him. So we have to run, heading down the spiral once again.
Besides, I don't want to put
Back in the
barbecue
forest,
or
Walter follows
anything
us
on
through, and he's
sesame
super
chicken.
annoying here.
That's
Between the
it.
dogs and his Devil May Cry style gunfire, you're in trouble. Our goal in this return is to rebuild a mannequin sat in the
Oh,
burned
you ate
ruins
so
of the
much
Wish House,
today.
all the while dodging
Really, what all
water,
did you eat?
monsters, and multiple ghosts, including the molten ghost of Jasper.
Some spicy shit. Yeah. I don't know. Spicy sesame chicken?
I love the found footage effect the game uses when
I don't know, it don't
introducing
sound
the
that good.
ghosts. It's so distinct and special to this
At
game.
least I've never
Every
had any
ghost reveal
spicy
is
sesame
made all the
chicken.
more disturbing for it. In front of Toluca Lake, we run into young Walter again.
Well, what about a mom or dad?
Yeah, but I never met him. They left South Ashfield Heights right after I was born. But soon I'll get to see my mom.
He's harmless and wants his mum, who he believes lives in room 305. Or, more bizarrely, it's implied, he believes the room itself is
That
his
is a
mother.
decent
He's hiding
amount of
behind a
food.
statue containing a seal of Metatron,
More than
which
what
we
I ate.
yoink and continue our scavenger hunt.
February 10th. I went to visit Ashfield again. Again,
Yeah, chow mein came out really good. Well, that's good.
While making our way across the forest, Eileen will come to the realization
bad
that
at
she
all.
can read all the bizarre messages that Henry can't understand,
Oh,
which is
God.
concerning. That can't be a good
Okay.
sign, but the messages themselves basically just outline a bit more history and lore
Ooh,
of
okay.
Walter's time at the orphanage where he was sent after his parents abandoned him in room 305. Once we've gathered all the parts and placed them on the doll, it appears to come to life, wheeling itself off the edge. In the basement, we find a shrine dedicated to the
yeah, you
altar,
ran out of
containing a
soy
religious
sauce.
text. It outlines that someone has to sacrifice
that's
10
unfortunate.
victims. Once done, they have to sacrifice
That's
themselves
like half of the
as
best
the 11th,
part of
and
it.
in doing so, they separate their spirit from their bodies. And finally, Walter must separate the flesh of the mother reborn and he who is the receiver of wisdom. And he guesses as to which two people are filling those roles. Information digested, we use the crest to
Too bad
unlock the
other
door
sauces
and begin
hardly
another
make up a
descent.
good,
The spiral itself is
good
getting
soy.
progressively darker. Symbolically, I think
Are you
this
trying to find
spiral
the
represents
Carolina
the
Reaper
mind of Walter
so you can
Sullivan.
make
Each
this movie
location we
go?
visit is a place that held significance
Why
to
do you
him,
want-
and they're all connected
Oh,
through
God.
this spiral. with
Why do you want to
horrific
die so
imagery
bad,
scattered all
Mouse?
around. Our return to the water prison is
I mean, if you
among
want
the
to
most
die so
bizarre.
bad,
We
just
step into a large metal lift and
just
descend
chug a
almost
bottle of
from the heavens
sriracha.
in
I'm sure
what
that
looks
that'd be
like a
about
scene
the
straight out
same,
of Dark Souls.
the same effect, right?
Walt is hot on our tail right out the gate, so we
But
start
does it
running
really
down
kill
the
you?
tower. Of course, it's
It'll
extra
make you
long
wanna
now because
fucking
we
die.
can't take the ladder shortcut. I was initially
from what I've
confused
heard.
about the ladders here. It made the entire
So I don't
ramp
know.
redundant, but it's done
But
so
do
that
you
you
really
feel
wanna
the
risk
extra
it?
pressure of Eileen and her lack of mobility the second time round. The door to the engine room is
Okay, hot
locked,
as
so we have
fuck.
to run all the way back up, drop down the holes, and unlock it. In the chamber behind the kitchen, we find a prisoner's shirt with the description claiming it needs to be soaked in a coloured liquid
But
before we can
sriracha
read what's on
doesn't
it.
do jack
Naturally,
shit.
I went over to the
I
water
don't believe
where
sriracha
Andrew
is
died and tried
spicy
to soak
enough.
it, but it didn't work, despite being covered in
Well,
blood.
enough,
That only leaves one other place. Our shower, which after Andrew died, spurted out a bunch of blood. Something that at the
At least
time
it has a
was
good
just
flavoring
horrific
to it.
scare, was actually a setup for this later puzzle. Soaking it, we discover a hidden message outlining the location of another sword and
Yeah,
revealing
you
that
risk
Andrew
it.
had a key
Go ahead,
to
risk
the
it.
newly locked engine room. The terminology used on it,
Isn't
sticking,
it?
was meant to be
No.
prison talk for shanking, but it's actually used
Go back
to
in time and
outline
tell
the
that to the
solution to
cavemen.
getting the key.
Like,
We have
oh
to
yeah,
defeat
life's
the ghost
about
of
risk.
Andrew,
Fuck
then
that.
stick him,
No.
allowing us to steal the key.
If life
In the
was
engine
about
room, the
risk,
worm
then why did we
creature is
close
back,
up for
dangling
2
from the
years during
ceiling again,
COVID?
and bro, this thing, they know what they were doing. I have to blur that
Like,
back.
no, life's
Heading
not
to the
about
back
risks.
door, gone is the comically
Not at
large
all.
door, and in its place is a literal battalion of twin victims waiting for us. This encounter's kind of frustrating.
Ugh.
There's too many to fight and they're too dense to just run through. I managed to reach this point without Eileen taking any real damage, but here she was knocked down twice, being completely swarmed. I had to pull out the gat and mow him down, GTA style. Once dealt with, we continue forward on our journey.
Yeah, from other people's. Okay. That makes sense.
In the building world, the ghost of Richard immediately appears, and it's a very unique ghost, more human than the other ones. It attacks with a steel pipe and can teleport while you're fighting. The only ghost with that ability. He's a bitch to fight, really aggressive, which is probably in reference to his abusive nature when he was alive. You can use the ultra rare silver bullet to take him out quickly,
Fuck.
or risk an outright fight with the lad. Either way, get that bitch pinned.
I remember this place.
The progression up to this point kind of made sense, or at least it felt as if you were making an understandable push forward. But in this level, the progression was a little iffy. The theme is understandable. We're restoring items of the past to their rightful place across many locations, but the items are so random and menial.
Well, why
it
would
felt
you want to
redundant.
listen to
We
a
have find
celebrity?
snooker ball,
Why
a
the fuck would you
volleyball.
listen to
Look
a
how
rich
many
cunt?
there are. Surely Walter won't mind if
You should
one
listen
goes
to poor
missing.
people.
The only area that offers more depth is the pet shop, which has a direct link to Walter. The game heavily implies that Walt used to torture animals there. This piece of information could give more context to some of the creatures we've encountered.
Well,
Their
yeah.
random assortment of noises when damaged. This could be mimicking the
I don't really
different
give a shit
animals
about
that Walter
celebrities
harmed in
anyway.
his lifetime.
They're
Taking
mostly
that a
all
step
pieces of
further,
shit to
the
begin with.
gumheads, they all appear to have another head growing out of their chest. It's possible that these creatures represent the human sacrifices Walter used to rebirth himself as an immortal spirit. This is around about the point where you begin to feel like this game isn't really
fucking
Henry's
tired,
story.
Jesus
It's Walter's.
Christ.
These worlds and creatures, they're manifestations of Walter's psyche. As explained by Masashi Sobayama, the art director and monster monster designer, the creatures are manifestations of things from Walter's subconscious mind, and the ghosts are the people who Walter has killed, trapped in this world, wandering about. In this way, it makes sense why Henry is such a muted personality. He's a driving vehicle into this twisted world.
What's going on here?
While trying to restore the many different items, we will eventually stumble across an interaction with the two versions of Walter.
I don't know. Ryan Reynolds is becoming less and less funny over time.
Well, let's go and see Mother.
So I don't know.
Let me go.
Not only are they aware of each other, but
What
the older
other
version
advice
has some kind of
do you
plan
hear
for
from
his younger
celebrities to
self.
others?
Damn.
What are you
Other
damning
men
at, Henry?
don't give up.
What are you gonna do? The
Fucked
man
if I
can't
know.
die. He
Why
duels
would you ask
pistols
me?
and has a chainsaw. Be thankful he's too busy to kill
I don't
your
listen to
ass right
celebrities.
now.
Why
Once
the
all
fuck would
items
I
are
know?
returned to their respective places, we head back to the bar, down the stairs, and progress to the final area of the game. But before reaching the spiral, we're cut off by a surprise boss, one of the only bosses in the game. This guy's called the One Trick. It consists of multiple hanging monsters, all of which are fake bar one, which we have to identify and kill. Finding the correct monster can be a pain. It just depends on where it spawns in relation to the start location. And as with all the wall beasts, the hitbox for this guy is wild. There isn't much symbolism for One Truth, although based on the name and the fact that it's present just before Henry reaches the final area, you can assume it's meant to be a form of test. Henry has to prove he's ready for the final confrontation.
I'm gonna give the same advice. It seems quite well.
Hitting the correct version will cause all the monsters to cringe as
I mean,
well.
celebrities
which would
don't
make
think for
finding the correct
themselves,
one
so I mean,
obvious
yeah.
in second playthroughs, but until you know that, it's just a guessing game.
So
With a beast slain, the exit door opens.
nothing they
and
say
you
is
head
gonna
through.
matter. What does a celebrity fucking know?
The
Jack
spiral
shit.
is almost completely shrouded in darkness now. We're descending to the deepest depths of Walter's psyche. At the bottom, we discover a door to our room. Inside, it's greyed out and all the furniture is different. This is the flat from a point in time when Joseph occupied it. In the bedroom, we discover Joseph's red letter typewriter, where one of his notes referenced the start of the game. The intro nightmare wasn't just any old previous inhabitant, it was Joseph himself. Heading back into the living room, and who should appear other than the man himself, looking like a default asset from Gmod.
It's him.
You've done well to make it this far.
Honestly, I half expected him to tell us to rise and shine. He recaps all the information we should have gathered up to this point. I imagine it's just done for brevity's sake to make sure that the non-attentive players understand what's going on.
If you think that's a celebrity, your criteria is flawed.
Thank you, out-of-place Unity asset man. The main item of interest here is a pickaxe stuck in the hallway
Here's
wall,
good
which
advice.
doesn't work
Yeah,
in the
sure
grey
you
room,
can.
but travelling to the modern
Yeah, here's
day,
good
we're able
advice.
to break down that wall,
Suicide is
revealing a hidden
badass.
closet.
Here's some more advice. If a baby's crying, shake it. I'll shut him the fuck up. Here's some more advice. You want some clean houses? Mix bleach and chlorine. Or mix your ammonia and your bleach. That'll clean your house real
Inside,
fucking
there's
good.
a harrowing sight. A crucified Walter, his real body rotting behind the walls of our home this entire time. We have to grab a pair of keys from his body, and the entire time I was waiting for an expected jump scare. But thankfully, it never comes. Using these keys, we're finally able to unlock the chains that have been oppressing us since the beginning of the game,
wanna end depression,
allowing our
smoke
escape.
weed.
Or so you might have thought.
It doesn't
You
really
silly
end
little
it.
goose.
It
We're
just
right
delays
back in the
it.
apartments, which shouldn't really surprise
you wanna
anyone.
delay
We
your
have
depression,
unfinished
yeah.
business. This
That'd
time, the
work.
walls are different. They're thicker with blood. It's almost living, which was the first real environment change in the second half, and I wish each of the levels had demonstrated this level of
I
change.
don't know why my stomach, ever since I ate that fucking food, my stomach.
Kind of nightmare.
The structure itself is different too, with bars
Just
blocking our
feeling
path
dumb
and
right
rooms
now.
having merged, almost as if Walter is creating mental barriers to stop Henry from
Isn't it weird that I, like,
Making our way to
constantly
Frank's room,
have,
we
like,
find a new
slight
version
nausea?
of the twin victim, except
matter
now
what.
the mask has been cast off. It's revealing its true self. The two heads remain, but from the bottom there's a head drooping down, almost as if the creature's giving birth. I think this reinforces my theory about the gum creatures, that these monsters likely represent Walter's rebirth. It's worth noting that all these rooms would normally be swarming with ghosts looking to rip our tits off, and that's why pinning them down is so vital early on. It makes this last section a breeze in comparison. On the first floor, we discovered that Frank's room is locked with 6 chains, and to break them off, we have to find 6 hanging bodies that appear to be a manifestation of Walter's dad.
Why?
I told you we should have a baby, didn't I?
Every time you find one, the figure mutters some abusive sentiment about Walter.
Get out of here. I can't stand it anymore.
Even the music here is melancholy. It's not scary or tense, it's just sad. Which summarizes Walter's story.
Does that shit even do anything when you mix it?
He was an innocent child, abandoned by his parents and swept away to a cult-run orphanage where he was subjected to unknown horrors until it broke him mentally. We're not meant to empathize with him as such. The game just hammers home how desperate and miserable Walter's story is. In the end, all the atrocities he's committed are just a twisted attempt to reunite himself with his mother, someone that wanted nothing to do with him. With the chains gone, we're finally able to grab the umbilical cord, causing an intense headache.
I'm going back, Henry. To the room where he is. We're the only ones. The only ones that can stop him.
For some
Bitch,
reason,
you have a broken
likely due
arm.
to the hauntings influence, Eileen decides to head back to the room, claiming to feel a great deal of empathy for young Walter. We then have to make our way back, alone, to the room. Once there, we discover Walter's body is gone, and below him, what looks like a hole to another
does
dimension.
something.
After investigating, it's obvious
that couldn't
once
be
we go
more
through,
vague.
there's no coming back. So make sure you are fully stocked up, and once ready, we pass through.
Yeah, like I have the shit to waste on
Floating
that.
in the air
Yeah.
with a red glow surrounding him. He's in a fetal position, like a baby in the womb, and
Fetal
surrounding
position.
him are slabs that represent the victims of Walter's rebirth. Descending one more level, we come face to face with the final boss.
Hey there, little Walter. Just a little longer now.
What is this, 13 ghosts?
Glory, the last of the 21 sands. The final sign. The receiver of wisdom.
In a circular arena, we face off against the ghost of Walter and a giant pale beast, which appears to be the embodiment of Walter's mother, or at least a demon masquerading as her. The more possessed Eileen is based on her damage level, the quicker she walks to the blades. This is why keeping her safe is so important. You can see her possession levels from the amount of bruising on her model, particularly her back, which will just be
That
tore
just sounds
up if you don't
terrible.
take
I
care
hate
of her.
coffee.
A holy candle can be placed in front of her, which temporarily lowers her possession level, although there are mixed reports about how effective this is at changing the walk speed, so I wouldn't rely on it too much. When the fight begins, Walter will pursue us, and as always, he can't be hurt. First, we have to deal with the big ugly mum demon by using the umbilical cord, then impaling it with 8 spikes we find across the room. Once done, Walter is human and can be killed, which leads to a painfully awkward and anticlimactic shootout between the two. The boss
For a
isn't
human,
bad,
he can take a
which
lot
in
of
way
a
is
lot of
wonderfully
bullets.
representative of the game. The first section's great, running around, trying to grab the spears and impaling the monsters in a race against time, balancing your inventory, too much ammo and healing, and we won't have enough space for the spears. Then once
God.
Walter becomes vulnerable, the boss grinds to a halt, and the two men stand a few feet apart, exchanging a ridiculous amount of bullets. This is actually the only time where you kind of have to use the dodge mechanic. Dodge is shot, get a few off, dodge again. This at least adds some tactic to it, I guess, but in any case, we eventually get the better of him. He falls to the ground, and in his final breath, he cries out for his mother.
She
This
didn't love you.
leads to one of 4 endings, depending on a combination of 2 factors: the number of hauntings you cleared from the room, and whether or not Eileen survives the final encounter. In the good ending, the ending I of course got, Walt is killed, the hauntings are vanquished, and both Henry and Eileen are saved.
Eileen.
This is called the escape ending.
Come
It's
on,
all
Eileen.
sunshine and rainbows,
And
as
my hands
always,
are so
Henry's
clean.
name is fuck.
Guess we'll
At
have to
this
find a new place
moment,
to live, huh?
I am stapling
He really does seem happy to be alive. Getting this ending is technically one of the hardest, although it's not exceptionally hard. You have to clear 80% of the room's hauntings and make sure Eileen doesn't get battered along the journey. That's basically it. The second ending is called Mother. We achieve it by saving Eileen, but letting the hauntings run rampant in our house.
Okay.
It's near enough the same as before, but instead of wanting to leave, Eileen is keen to return to the room. Near enough the same rampant in our house.
No.
It's near enough the same as before, but instead of wanting to leave, Eileen is keen to return to the room.
What the fuck?
Go back to South Ashfield Heights now.
Which, by the looks of things, is
I don't know why
entirely
that was so
haunted by
funny.
Walter. You could assume that in this ending, Eileen herself
God.
is possessed by the spirit that
Oh,
Walter has
God.
created.
Okay.
The third ending, Eileen's death, is a rather selfish one, where Henry keeps himself safe by clearing all the hauntings in 302, but allowing Eileen to die at the end.
Well, why not?
Were found dead at the scene, and the fifth victim, Miss Eileen Galvin, was transported to St. Jerome's Hospital, where she died a short time later.
Good.
Police say that Miss Galvin's injuries match exactly those of the other victims.
Good.
The really bad ending is called the 21
You sound like
Seconds, in
Rocky
which
there at the end.
Walter wins. He gets his way. The ritual is complete. The two protagonists are sacrificed to bring Walter back to life, and the haunting can do as it pleases.
I gotta fight him, Adrian. I gotta fight him. I gotta go in there. I gotta punch his lights out, Adrian.
Stay with you forever.
The last body discovered was found in room 302 of the South Ashfield Heights apartments. It is believed to be that of its occupant, Henry Townsend.
Every game needs a bad ending to punish incompetent gamers. It's only fair. Sadly, there's no joke ending, which is a shame. There always a treat in these games.
Every
something
ending is a
funny to
bad
laugh
ending
at
just
and
to punish
break
me.
through the bleak world we've struggled through. It's a missed opportunity to make the room like a sitcom, like Friends or something. Well, what can you do?
Oh, you guys.
A mixed bag when it comes to public opinion, and an interesting game that tried something different while still maintaining its core horror focus. Does it have flaws? Yeah. At times it's frustrating and kind of unforgiving, but it has such a memorable and distinct theme that makes it really stand out. A theme of isolation and desperation seen from two different angles. Henry's isolation as a man trapped in his own room, and Walter's as an abandoned child forced into a twisted cult. It's disturbing and delivers a subtle but concise story.
What's going on here?
Nothing quite like it has been
Nothing
done
good.
since, and it's a theme I would love to see another game tackle. It's one of the few Silent Hills you can easily play right now. Good Old Games are selling it for a very good price, and it's been ported perfectly to PC, so I recommend you check it out. This will be the last Silent Hill video I make for a while. Every game has something to offer in their own right, but 3 videos is enough for 1 year. Hey, if we hit 500,000 subs, I'll make a video on Silent Hill 2 and Manhunt 2. Double trouble, so make it happen. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video
You
if
could
you
at least
enjoyed
pick
the
a good
hours you
game.
spent with me. It's only fair. Check this video out right here that's appearing on screen. It's good. You'll like it. It's good. Thanks again to Nord for sponsoring.
Yeah, I've seen it. So I'm gonna watch it again. Not right now. Oh, I remember this dude.
Today I have a real doozy for you because I'm explaining the lore of one of the most bizarre and perverted men in history, James Heydrich. A superhuman being, later a washed-up convict, finally a convicted paedophile. Think George Dillman meets Jimmy Savile.
James Heydrich, martial arts instructor. Believed by many to be the world's leading psychic.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here, so let's take it back a couple of notches and just look a few years earlier to his rise to stardom. So who was James Heydrich? He was a career criminal. He was arrested for things like burglary, assault. Now, despite that little minor setback, he was able to rise to prominence through his claim to be the world's first telekinetic super being, able to move things with his mind. Cars, buses, bridges, no, pencils. If Pencil Man, the world's most famous villain ever attacked, who could we call on other than James Heydrich? But it wasn't until the 1980s that he got his first big public breakthrough, appearing on the show That's Incredible. So let's take a look at that.
It's incredible a pedophile going on TV like that.
That's fucking lit. That trick was later disproved, but again, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's just see what else he was able to demonstrate. We're fucking idiots. Cue card. That's incredible, or we'll shoot your kid.
Now a demonstration of psychokinetic power, or moving objects without touching them.
He'll try to move the pencil. Again,
He'll make a child move without touching.
Some Chai does not regard his powers as anything special. He believes that anyone can harness this energy from within themselves.
So he rolls things on tables. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm being a bit too skeptical in my old age, but that's not really a magical ability, is it? Now, as I said, when this video went public, it ruffled a few feathers. People were kind of saying, well, you know, that kind of looked like bullshit. Someone had to step up to the plate to call him out back then. And who done that other than the one,
James
the only
Randi.
James Randi, our boy, our saving grace, the exposer of frauds himself, called him out, and he said, you come down here, Buggeroo. Don't be playing funny buggers with here. We'll have a little game of kissy catch. You show me how these powers work. And the man said, hell yeah, let's do this, let's go. And this is what happened. God damn, man. You could eat your soup out of that haircut. Jesus Christ. Head looking like a fruit bowl.
Now, you claim psychic
Bruh.
Yes, I do. Is this
Oh,
something
that's
that
awful.
you have discovered
He deserves
recently,
it, but
or
that's
have
awful.
you known of it since childhood? How did it all begin?
Well, everyone's born with it. It's just a matter of development.
How did you develop your psyche?
What a brilliant answer, isn't it? That's just fantastic. Everyone's psychopathic. Psychopathic? That's more like it.
Through background and through training from an old Chinese master.
What sort of training?
Martial arts, kung fu, and laws of nature.
All karate and kung fu practitioners, please let me know in the comment section now if your grandmaster ever taught you the art of telekinesis, because I haven't seen that in any curriculums I've been looking at. Chi knockouts, fine, but telekinesis, now that's a step too far.
A little.
I don't see it happening, buddy boy. Stretch out the fingers, yeah, like you're cupping them titties. This is just getting awkward. Oh.
It's a bully scholarship. That sounds like it'll be fun.
Buddha boss.
More fun
Buddha
than I'm
boss.
having right now.
Man. Another great demonstration from the world's only real-life psychic. So we've seen
Although
him
I don't know, how could you have more
multiple
fun
times
than
the same
this?
trick on two different occasions. Now
I mean,
James
bruh.
Randi is going to enter the picture and disprove it using his hypothesis. Let's see how that plays out.
There should be a way, a simple way with a
Yeah.
lot of instrumentation to demonstrate that fact by using
That sounds like
one
it'll be fun,
very
though.
simple control.
Now, let me just emphasize that this one control will not stop him from turning the page of the telephone directory.
That's right.
But you hope to the judge's satisfaction will demonstrate that he is doing it with his brain.
That's correct.
All right.
Oh, he was shook. He was absolutely shook. Did you see that face when he was like, wait, they're going to test it?
Here is particles of a white plastic, which when given a good puff, good heavy puff of air, will, I think, rather conclusively show whether or not blowing is a method accomplished.
He can't do it. Utterly destroyed.
This time,
How many pages?
just one page.
James Randi destroyed this dude so bad he turned into a pedophile.
James, you had another question?
That is
What is
that's someone grandma.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
bruh. I'm
styrofoam
totally someone's grandma.
and
What
the
you up to?
lights form electricity which pulls the page. Look.
Well, yeah, how are you doing tonight, Maynard?
Close the page
I
down
hope your evening is going well.
instead of freeing the pages. Foam causes static electricity, and the light is what heats it up.
Mr. Hydrick, in demonstrating that the pages were clinging together, didn't demonstrate it to my satisfaction. I think we could perhaps ask the judges for their opinion on that. I am not a scientist, so I'm not qualified to declare that.
Judges? Whatever static electricity exists in
So
the
far.
styrofoam would not really affect the movement of the page.
So far,
or
it's not
clinging
too
the
bad.
pages together.
It's coming along how I want it. So.
It's not going to turn for you?
No, it isn't.
Oh baby, he wasn't able to demonstrate his psychic abilities when there is anything in the way of the wind. He wasn't able to do it because of the static electricity. It's a lie. I mean, it is almost a good excuse if you think about it. You know, the static electricity of the lights and the foam. Obviously it's dog shit, but you have to give him credit for his attempt.
When a simple, direct, very uncomplicated protocol is used and the control is applied, the psychic forces don't seem to be present, if indeed they are ever present at all.
James Randi also went on to disprove the pencil trick, as it was more of a sleight of hand trick on the positioning and angle of the pen on the table to cause it to spin. Basically, his reputation as a psychic was completely and utterly destroyed after this public appearance. So what happened to the man? Well, for this part of the story, we're leaving the sewers and we're actually going even deeper into the
Well, not
shit.
funny.
We're going into the deep gutters, alright? We're going to that
Hilarious, more like
sewer from Dark Souls, alright? We're going to the proper grotty part of his life, because this is where he took it up a notch and became somehow an even worse person than just a scammer. He became a Jimmy Savile. Alongside his reputation of being a psychic, he also was an established martial artist who managed to set up his own martial arts
Jimmy
schools
Savile.
academy to teach his findings, I guess. He was completely self-taught. And what he done in this
Not
academy
funny,
was
but-
he would promise these children, these young children, the ability to learn psychic powers from him in exchange for sexual favors. And this went on for a little while, and it's absolutely horrific and terrible. But luckily, the parents soon caught on, and it was brought to the police's
Thank
attention, and a warrant was issued for his arrest. But he done the Houdini, he done the disappearing act. All of a sudden, he was gone. And you know how the police found him? This is where the story just twists and turns. Do you know how the police actually fucking found the man? They saw him discussing psychic powers on a bloody talk show. The man has such a big ego that he can't miss out the opportunity to spread lies, bullshit, and to try and get a bit more public fame and attention, that even when there was a warrant for his arrest, he went on a talk show and he was sentenced to 17 years for molesting 5 different boys. After serving the sentence, he was actually remanded to a state hospital. So as of 2013, he's been housed in this state home for sexual predators. So if we can take anything positive away from this, is the fact that he's spent the good majority of his life locked up behind bars where he can't hurt anyone again, and even to this day he's rotting away in basically a paedophile prison, which is probably one of the worst places in the world to be. To conclude, real life powers don't exist. Anyone that claims to be able to teach you superhuman abilities for a fee, they want nothing other than to rip people off and to take your money. Save your time, save your money, and just always be skeptical about any promises that anyone makes you. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it kind of interesting.
Yeah, if somebody says, "Hey, I'll make you telekinetic if you suck my dick," they're probably not going to do it. Just pro tip: don't listen to the karate master in the van. What the fuck?
Hello, everybody. I'm Adam.
I'm Gael.
I'm
Scoot.
And this is the Twilight Brothers.
Twilight.
And we're watching Girl Finds Out She's Adopted feature film. It's going to take her a whole hour to find out she's adopted, and it's going to be crazy.
Is the blonde actress the one from the airplane? Like the...
No, that you're
She's in
thinking
all
of
of them.
Leslie Nielsen is the blonde from Airplane.
Okay, hold on. She's about to find out she's adopted.
Oh my god, then what are we going to do for 59 minutes?
We just want you to know how much we love you.
And that is never going to change.
That's fake.
It's going to change a little bit.
What I'm trying to say is that
You're adopted.
you.
They just do this for an hour? Oh, okay.
Oh my god, if the hour took place at this table, oh my god.
I like how she gets
My dinner with the adopted girl.
Oh my god.
I'm not a loser.
It dawns on her.
How old was I when you guys got me?
14?
Yeah.
You're just a baby.
I am sure that they loved you.
No, why would they love? Come on.
Well, they
His
didn't love her
face-
that much.
Wait, his face is like they did not love her.
Your parents needed some heroin and they were willing to trade a baby.
Yeah.
That's what
Why
heroin
not?
And we had a lot of heroin.
Oh, this was a direct deal. There's not even a middleman.
No.
Did you say she wants to meet them and he said you can't do that?
They're dead.
Heroin.
Too much heroin.
Yeah, this is a film now.
Wee-oo!
Wow.
I love his face
His eyes
so
have been
much.
doing a lot
He's
of work.
the best.
He's doing some real
Yeah,
face
there's-
acting.
I love the picture she drew. Best family off
Oh,
to the
that's
side.
good.
I'm gonna start my own family with blackjack and hookers.
That'll show him.
Is
He
it
likes
really?
pointing.
Listen, how can you say get out of my room if you've acknowledged that they're not your parents?
Then it's not your room.
Yeah, exactly. This is some other kid's room.
This is their real
Their
child's
invisible
room.
child's room.
Oh, that'd be even better.
My bedroom's in that
And
case.
we've
Please
been
turn into
co-raising your sister this whole time. Your family? Oh, is she gonna go on?
Is she calling herself?
She's gonna find out she was
Bestie.
missing, abducted, and
Oh.
she'll go to find the missing children website. She'll be like, "That's me."
Wait, is that girl their real daughter?
Yes.
What happened?
Nothing other than I just had the worst birthday.
I'm not sure about that.
You're not gonna believe this, but I just found out
Please unfriend her.
It's worse than being retarded.
I can't be friends with an adopto.
See you at school tomorrow.
No.
See you at school, comma, tomorrow. Did
No.
you see that subtitle?
Well, her name is Tomorrow.
Ah, you got me there. She's like really dressed up for bed.
Don't you dress up for bed? I get real fancy at nighttime.
Where are you going?
I think we should tell Sabrina what we did with her parents.
I think we should tell her that we tricked her and she's not adopted.
This prank has gone on long enough.
We have a very
That'd be the
elaborate
worst.
plan.
We're raising her for meat,
That's that wouldn't be the most efficient way to raise meat, surely.
but one of the funniest.
It's a very dust-free attic.
Now we introduce the supernatural aspect of the movie.
Oh, I really hope it goes there.
A spooky ghost.
Oh, uh-oh.
Uh-oh!
but it's a
The ghost of her real
angel.
parents,
I'm on
because they were murdered in the attic.
It's angel time.
Oh,
No! You saw that! It was the only thing!
These are good batteries.
I was gonna say.
It's been there for 9 years. Now suck on the battery, gain its powers.
Ooh,
But-
important documents. You know how
Okay.
you keep them in the attic?
Suck
and you
on the
write
battery?
important documents
What?
on them?
I always put those in the attic under the plushies.
Wait, that's the Quran. I'm not even kidding. Wait, it's a fake Quran.
Is that what's in the Quran?
Well, the secret's out. Wait, did she
Quran
draw
is
these
about
when
being
she was
adopted?
like 3?
Oh my god, my parents were just hands.
Darius
Mulligan.
Michael Mulgannon.
Well, now she's gonna hunt him down.
My dad, Darius Mulgannon.
Oh, Bonnie and Clyde.
Good walk on that. Good walk
That kid
on
was
that.
walking by
Yeah.
so awkwardly.
What about your mom, Candy Johnson?
Candy Johnson.
Candy Johnson.
Oh,
How did we
yeah.
focose on Darius
What?
and Miss
I
Candy
don't know how we missed
Johnson?
Candy.
I'll show you a Candy Johnson.
Ooh.
Did I just hear that correctly?
Oh my god.
Hi, Mr. Souble.
Of course it's Souble.
I'm your dad now.
Wait, is
It's
that
like a
jail?
movie.
Los Angeles Prison. Metropolitan Detention Center. And she's wearing like a rainbow. This is not a place for a little girl.
You are asking for it.
Brownie. His name is.
Don't
Sorry,
call- oh,
Brown. It's
what
Brown.
the
Sorry.
fuck?
I thought it was Brownie. I saw
Oh boy, oh
I literally
boy.
was reading the name
You're
tag.
not supposed to call them that.
Jesus Christ.
God.
What the heck?
Fucking canceled.
You want to go to
His
jail,
name's
little
different. Jackson.
girl? What?
What?
He's
His
a
name? What?
shapeshifter. His
Wait,
name's
He
changed.
heard what you called him and changed his name.
That what? I'm saying. Were you?
Okay. How do you think this is gonna go?
Cool guy, scumbag. Cool guy, scumbag.
Scumbag.
Scumbag?
I think it's gonna be scumbag.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah.
You met me. Happy now.
Like,
Ah!
Yeah.
she's got weird priorities.
Now, if you don't got anything else to talk about, I'm gonna get out of here.
What's he in such a hurry to get back to his cell for?
Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
you got a busy day planned
In jail?
I was also hoping that
that we could kiss through the glass.
you might be able to help me find my mom. Her name is Candy Johnson.
His face.
We put that on there as a joke. That's not a real birth certificate.
Is that the name she put?
She has different names.
It helps with avoiding the police and with unwanted children coming back to find you.
I'll show you some unwanted children.
Ugh. That's low-key the grossest joke anyone has made
Well then.
on one of these commentaries.
Ooh, nice.
How to find address.
Always a good one.
Oh my god!
Always
That's
a
the
good
best.
one.
How to Google search.
Luna, I made you dinner.
I'm listening to metal.
You'll at least have Thanksgiving with us tomorrow, right?
But I'm not thankful for anything.
Fuck you, lady. Like, sorry, you're not gonna have any of my food, but you'll happily take my electricity and the laptop that I've provided for you. That
Did
is
you
okay,
just
fine.
call the little girl lady?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't say this often enough, but you should kill your daughter. Are you both having 2 donuts?
That is a lot.
I like that she prints things on paper and probably has a smartphone.
You know how 15-year-olds love printing out paper?
Everybody has a printer right now.
Yeah.
But by the way, I would definitely get like different flavors of donut. I wouldn't go 2 of the same.
But it's the best one.
You're getting 2 giant-ass donuts, both the same?
It's the
How much
best
do you
one there.
love that donut?
I was gonna say.
Why is my mom? Oh, I gotta stop calling her that. I'm changing her name right now.
Yeah, I'll make it opposite of mom.
Cindy.
Mom.
No, do it.
Lowercase,
Do it.
yeah.
No. You got to go upside down.
Wow. You can find the place easier if you have it on your Google Maps.
No, you print that shit out. You go to MapQuest. You print out all the
paper
steps.
printout doesn't tell you where you are.
I would just get an atlas.
What if he's
Hello.
Bella? Now that's interesting.
Oh my lord. Is that Emma Thompson from Cruella?
How have you been?
Adopted.
Good. Can I offer you anything?
Yeah, your driver's license actually.
Yeah.
Be a good start.
Now tell me exactly who you are and where you came from.
Slapper.
Can you teach me how to find address?
Now I'm gonna need you to leave before
Hi, Mom.
Bella.
The Oscar for worst movie to pass the Bechdel test is.
She reminds me of fucking new Star Wars girl.
Oh yeah, I love it.
What's her name again? Shit.
Ray. Her real name is Ray.
Oh my God.
Chaos Walking. Daisy Ridley.
There you go.
Guys, there's a plot happening.
There's a plot happening.
I'm adopted.
Oh!
Uh-oh. Wait, she's adopted by her parents? It goes all the way around.
I like it.
If you really want to find her, which I highly suggest you don't.
You want to give
she
me
just
some
has-
details about why I don't want to find her, or are you going to keep it vague?
No.
Well,
Like, you have no reason to be keeping this from me right
Secrets.
now. Ew.
We should call the police.
If you're a parent in this day and age and you don't have some sort of location tracker on your child's phone, I don't know what to say.
I would take it a step further. If you're a parent in this day and age and you don't have some sort of tracker directly on your child, implanted under the skin on the left forearm, then you're a bad parent.
Okay,
Why
so
the
I know
left
she's not a
forearm?
cripple.
nice.
Wait for it.
Not the right
do see
foreleg.
your
Horse, some kind of horse detective. Mom?
Oh, Mom!
You got the stuff?
I mean, I've got a little bit of coke on me if you want that.
Sasha Whitlock?
The name's Candy.
Candy Johnson.
Are you the police?
Ooh,
are you the police? Are you the police?
Do you get
Let me
checks
see your
from
nipples.
the government or something like?
Never say that to a 15-year-old girl, by the way.
It's a movie.
It's a film. I would call it cinema.
Oh, I love the Static Channel.
One of the best.
You got any cigarettes, do you?
No, but I am hungry.
I wouldn't eat food here. You just had 2 of the biggest donuts I've ever seen.
Go look in the fridge. But don't eat the orange that's in there.
That's the Christmas
I love
orange.
oranges.
It's mine.
This is the weirdest
Yeah, so much-
scenario and dynamic here. Like, I'm hungry. Fuck off.
You got a cell phone?
Not anymore.
I was hoping to stay with
Oh,
you.
whoa. You really want to stay?
I love how every beer bottle and can is just facing the opposite way for the label. Like, that's a Coors Classic there. Are these Heineken? What are these?
Is there a room I should put my stuff in?
Oh, you just live here now?
I like how, sorry, just in the prior scene, her non-biological father was saying,
Yeah.
she's smarter than most adults that I know. She'll be fine.
She's smarter than a lot of adults I know.
And now she's at a crack house
Yeah.
being like,
Yeah.
I want to stay with you
How
guys.
smart is she?
I want
Not
the only
at all.
orange in the fridge.
Try not to make a mess while we're gone.
I know. Everything that's placed this way, it's for a reason, okay?
I mean, the
I will
bottles,
notice.
the bottles on the table just changed orientation for this shot.
Your dad just changed orientation.
Got him.
I like that she still made Thanksgiving dinner with her daughter missing.
She finished the dinners.
Finished! It is served. What are we gonna do? Not have the turkey waiting for her?
I'm hungry.
Why don't you eat a little something?
What if they?
Look, I'll have a little turkey, and then we'll start looking for our missing daughter who's been gone for days.
I definitely hate turkey a lot.
I don't hate turkey, but I'll take duck
It's
over
definitely
it.
it's one of my least favorite white meats.
Well, I'm telling you, who's your favorite white meat?
Well,
No pressure.
you already know. Making eye contact with it right now.
I love how he pokes at his vein there, like in case he couldn't figure it out.
Show belly button.
It's a good thing she had a book.
It's Romeo and Juliet. It's barely a book. Got him. Later, Shakespeare.
Take that, Bill.
Bill.
Do you want to help me with my homework?
What is your game plan?
She is.
Why would I do that?
Yeah. The most reasonable question.
I am siding with
No, because
the
Crack
heroin
mom.
addicts.
I'm your daughter.
Yeah, and I gave you away.
She's like, what, 70?
She's 26.
She's lived hard.
Does it even matter to you that I came to see you?
You think if I wanted you, come see
This is nice. This is a nice slur going on. And here's some other nice slurs.
Hey, Gary!
Hey Gary, check out this bitch.
This kid thinks that I like her.
Phil my real quick. Because when Gary sat down on the couch, if you look at his right pocket, there was clearly the outline of a phone in there. And that's where my film eye.
Not what I thought you were going to say there was the outline of in his pants.
Well then.
Keen cinephiles will notice that Gary is packing.
I'm so happy you're home.
I understand now. You were just trying to protect me.
See, I told you she was
What?
smart.
Like, you would have protected better if you just told me.
Yep.
I was in more danger because you didn't tell me, and I did all this
lot.
shit by myself, and you didn't even care where I was until dinner was
A long
ready.
time until you already made Thanksgiving dinner.
You were right, you know.
About what?
Family doesn't require blood.
Oh, that's his angle.
I require
God.
The end of the fable.
Chomp.
Looks dry.
Well, it's been there for fucking hours because someone ruined dinner.
Ruined Thanksgiving.
Can I have the whole cob next time instead of this piece of shit?
Are you a whole cob kind of guy?
I'm a whole cob kind of guy,
Nice.
and I eat it vertically.
I'm Bella, Sabrina's sister.
Wouldn't be a Darman video if something crazy didn't happen at the end.
Is that a thing? Is he Shyamalan-esque?
He's very Shyamalan.
Is that what everyone from there does with their movies?
What do you mean by everyone from there?
I don't know. Philadelphia. Saved it.
This is my dad, and that's my mom.
Oh, she said the things.
I just want to point out that
Can we
Adam,
adopt your baby?
I want to point out that Adam literally typed the title of this film into YouTube, and within 3 seconds, we were in.
I was gonna say I got whiplash. Like I had the thing I was going to say. I don't know what it is anymore.
I don't know. I wanted you to react to the fact that this is what we're
You
watching.
told me to shut up and then press record. That's literally what happened.
That's her bestie's family.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're so on top of this.
She unflipped the thing.
yeah.
What if it was two different people?
Their name tags are
That would
different.
have been really good.
What if Brownie was her dad the whole time?
You mean Jackson? You racist.
Yay! Woo, boy!
Post credits.
Wait.
Didn't take long.
You're my dad.
You're my dad.
Yeah.
So he does get this a lot.
Man.
You want help finding your mom?
$10,000?
Actually, I came in for some money.
Yes.
What the fuck you? Ugh.
You know who has lots of money? People in jail.
Prisoners. Yeah.
Like all the
Great.
bad guys get their comeuppance.
Someone ate orange. Someone ate orange. Someone ate orange. Ah, there you go.
She's so high she didn't notice. I like the play fighting junkies. Grr. Also the
automatic
haunted fridge.
Yeah. I like how the light stayed on, by the way.
I love how we're getting all of the resolution we were dying to have this entire film. Like, I wanted to know what
But
she
will
got.
tomorrow get that phone?
I mean, they've been teasing tomorrow's iPhone since the first act.
True.
We don't even get more credits. This is a feature film. What the fuck? Okay, what was your favorite scene? Hurry up.
The post credits. I panicked. I'm sorry. Two donuts.
Two donuts. All right, thanks everybody.
Bye.
No real credits for this real
Jesus.
movie, I guess.
Jesus
Christ.
loves you?
Okay, bye everybody.
Okay. Ugh.
Netflix has been in a lot of hot water over the past year, from putting a stop to password sharing, incorporating ad-based content, and most importantly, all their recent cancellations. There's too many to even count, but it felt like every other day I was coming onto Twitter to see the news of either a new series being cancelled in the middle of production, or an existing show having the plug pulled on it before managing to reach its full potential. It's a real shame. Think about all your favorite shows. Which season of that would you consider your most loved? 99% of the time, I'd have to assume it's something past the first couple. The more time folks are allowed to work on a show, the more they can truly hone in on their craft and perfect it. But here are all these series that'll just never be able to reach that potential. It's kind of sad when you think about it. Something else I always see when a show gets cancelled, however, is a statement somewhere along the lines of, "This cartoon gets cancelled, but Big Mouth is getting another season?" Oh yeah, Big Mouth is like widely acclaimed. I forgot about that.
Me and my big mouth. Big mouth. That's the show. That's the show.
Released in 2017, Big Mouth shows the adventures of a group of kids as they face the horrors of puberty, with it being personified by a giant hormone monster who follows the children around, giving them advice and helping them explore these new feelings and emotions. And despite what the internet might want you to believe, it is a big hit. You see, when these adult animated comedies come out with ugly art styles, and clearly just created because some celebrity thought making a cartoon would be easy, they usually only last a season or two. But every now and then, one manages to slip through the cracks. F is for Family by Bill Burr is wonderful in my opinion, and it thankfully got a full 5 seasons with a definitive conclusion. But Big Mouth is a strange case, because if you look at most places online, you'll see nothing but pure hatred for the series. Yet, on Rotten Tomatoes, it sits at a 100% rating with critical acclaim across the board. It's currently on its 6th season with much more to come. How does that happen? I remember when the show came out, I thought it looked awful. Watched the first 4 episodes and then gave up on it. I had no real opinion on it, other than what I saw so many folks saying about it online. That it was the spawn of the devil and needed to be cancelled immediately. Which had me confused, as all these people constantly get angry about shows being taken off the air, and all the people working on it being out of a job, yet Big Mouth is apparently so terrible that the same argument apparently doesn't apply to it. Surely it can't be that bad, right? Well, that's mainly because a lot of animation fans are hypocrites and only get mad at this when it shows they like and cheer when it's something they dislike. You know, they're the folks who say you shouldn't criticize something because people worked hard on it, yet love to crap on Big Mouth any chance they can get. But anyways, that's what I want to figure out today. Because over the past week, I sat down and watched through all 61 episodes of Big Mouth to try and come to a conclusion on the question that has plagued a generation. Is Big Mouth really that bad?
Nope.
The answer may shock you. But first, you know what you should shove in your Big
I mean, it's not
Mouth?
the greatest,
All the
but-
tasty products found over at Factor. This video is sponsored by Factor. It's a new year, and you know what that means?
They can go
You
factor themselves. How
No,
about
I
that?
can never leave. Traveling to a... Big Mouth is...
Who the fuck gets these fucking food box bullshit? Why don't you learn to cook for yourself, you fucking retards?
.com and the Factor for...
Jesus.
Big Mouth is, in quite literal terms, a coming-of-age show, which if you were unaware is my absolute favorite genre. If your thing involves coming of age in some way, I'm immediately intrigued. Almost Famous, Submarine, Superbad, all some of my most beloved films. So I was really curious if Big Mouth at the very least makes for a good coming-of-age story. It doesn't. Created by Nick Kroll, best known for being the voice of the Fat Pig and Sing, great sign right off the bat. It stars his self-insert Nick and his best friend Andrew as they begin reaching puberty. Also, there's a girl called Jessie who they talk to, and also this wacky guy who hangs around called Jay. They imply that the 4 of them are good friends, but we almost never see them do regular stuff friends do, so the best I can say is that they're all acquaintances. In the Big Mouth universe, when a kid reaches a certain age, they're visited by the hormone monster if they're a boy, or the hormone monstress if they're a girl. Their whole purpose being to, in theory, guide them through all the strange feelings and things that come with puberty. When you hear that idea, you're like, what the hell? It's like perfect. Coming of age is all about characters losing their innocence in a way, so having the literal personification of that lost innocence is genius. How could they possibly?
I'm pregnant.
What? Nice. I mean, how would that even be possible?
Guys, you had a slam dunk. What happened here? The biggest issue that I think plagues Big Mouth, at least for season 1, we'll get to the rest when we get there, but it's that there's such clear disregard for any sort of rules, wanting to go for a style that's much more akin to Family Guy, where outlandish things can just happen. Whether it be supernatural like ghosts, Nick having one in his attic that he talks to, or sci-fi like them going inside the internet, or stupid like the pillow thing again. There are no set rules in place for what can and cannot happen. And while I can see the advantages to that sort of humor, being how many more opportunities for wacky jokes it leads to, I can't help but find it completely unnecessary in what's advertised to be a relatable, grounded story. When the series was coming out, the writers and creators kept talking about how they were pulling experiences from their actual childhoods and showing the gross parts of puberty in all their glory. But then you watch this show and it's just a bunch of nonsense. The biggest offender to this is the hormone monster himself, Maury. Again, he's the personification of the kid's emotions, so you think that he'd be exclusive to Andrew, his kid. Like, there's not actually a giant monster following this kid around all the time. He's like a metaphor, you know? You know? But no, it's like a business. It's his job to follow around all these kids and help them deal with their emotions, but at the same time they have influence over their actions. Like there are times where Andrew blames Maury for how he behaves, and even then, I could accept that. But we're expected to believe that he's also the hormone monster for the other kids too?
Do you mean the hormone monster? Yeah, Maury. He's the fucking man.
It honestly reminded me of the Fairly Oddparents more than anything, but with a much dumber setup. Like, okay, imagine the Fairly Oddparents, but Cosmo and Wanda are every kid's fairy godparents at the same time, and you're never meant to question how they balance all this. Even then, they established that there are other hormone monsters. Like, there's this old one who eventually becomes Nyx by the end of the season, but he's the only other one we see. So are there more we haven't seen, or what's up? Wouldn't it make sense for every kid to have their own unique one specifically catered to them? I don't know. Also, I have to take back what I said about them personifying their puberty like this being genius, because, as it turns out, the hormone monster is actually an alien, because a big blue guy came down from the sky millions of years ago and f***ed the Earth. How? Why would you overcomplicate such a simple idea? It should have been easy. So yeah, no, they're really there, which, goddamn, creates a whole cavalcade of other problems, such as... nobody ever decides to call out that Andrew has a giant monster following him around, except for one time when it's used as nothing more than a throwaway joke.
Hi, you're looking at me. How tall are you? There's a monster next to you.
Hey, what's up, Caleb?
I feel like that comment should be made a lot more frequently in this world, especially because it seems like nobody else has their hormone monsters following them around, or else we'd see them too, I guess. But not even. Because when it's convenient to the plot, everyone just tunes him out and acts like he's not even there. Like there's this moment in season 1 where Nick and Andrew start fighting in the school hallway. But this is because the hormone monster told him to get mad. So if they can see Maury, then wouldn't they understand that this was a result of him egging Andrew on? They pick and choose for whatever helps their forced drama at that point in time. At the end of season 1, Andrew gets arrested by the police because they think he killed someone. It's very dumb, I promise. But then his parents get pissed at him for making up a story of a monster putting a hole through their drywall. But like, wouldn't his parents have remembered having their own hormone monster when they were kids? How about time? Does it stop when the kids are talking to their hormone monster? The first episode sees Andrew arguing with him about whether or not to j*** off during a sleepover at Nick's, saying he doesn't want to wake him up. But you're speaking so loudly, couldn't he hear this? Just have him be a metaphor, nothing else, it's that simple. It seems like this idea was come up with under the assumption it would operate under these specific rules. But the further it got into development, the more leeway they gave themselves for what they could get away with for the sake of comedy. And this may seem minor and like I'm just bringing in a bunch of nitpicks for the sake of complaining, but if you watch the show, you have to know what I mean by this. It is such a specific idea they're going for, that when they actively go out of their way to do stuff that doesn't make sense, it takes you out of it and leaves you utterly confused. And the more this happens, the less immersed I am in your world. And of course, the less immersed I am, then the less likely I am to be along for the ride and laugh at the absurdity. What doesn't help is that it completely feels at showing you how puberty is affecting these characters. Episode 1 just straight up jumps into Andrew talking to his hormone monster. But part of a story like this is seeing how puberty is changing the characters. Yet we get next to no time to establish and get to know these guys before they start going through these different stages in their life. How about the series starts with an exaggerated view on adolescence to show how big of a threat puberty is going to be treated? Have a scene of Andrew and his friends doing some kid stuff, and then out of nowhere the hormone monster shows up, imposing on his life and making it clear that he's here to stay. Andrew realizing by the end that things are going to be different forever from this point on. You know what does that well, actually? The goddamn intro! That last shot of the intro is great. That should have been an actual scene in the show.
Go away. You are not real. You're just some hormone monster my brain created.
I mean, yeah, no, that's just as impactful of an introduction. What definitely doesn't help is that none of these kids sound like kids. The whole gimmick is that Andrew is going through puberty, yet our main character Nick isn't. He's underdeveloped. Yet this is what Andrew sounds like.
I mean, I'm over at Missy's, and her mom was just about to make some decaf yerba mate.
And this is what Nick sounds like.
Andrew's got a date, so I'm staying at home. And I guess I'm going to a high school party?
This is prevalent with the majority of the characters, and it's yet another thing that just takes you out of it. But I think what really gets me more than anything is that despite having all the pieces here for a truly amazing coming-of-age story, they drop the ball with just about everything. Each season of Big Mouth explores a different aspect of growing up, whether it be sexually or facing your anxieties or whatever, which is a good idea. So I can delve more into specifics that relate to those things when we get there, but to start, I think it's at least important to lay the groundwork for what I believe makes a good coming-of-age story. And how Big Mouth absolutely feels at all of them. 1. The cap.
Nah. I might watch this on my own time, but nobody's watching now, so you know what? Fuck it. Who cares? I think I shall begin to put an end to this. So yeah, I think I shall end this here for now, because I'm actually kind of getting fucking bored of knitting right now. So I'll save this for the next time we get to the knitting stream. So as y'all can see, I'm going for a candy kind of fucking bullshit here. So it's got the corrugated ribbon up here and just the normal knit down here. But I'm liking it, and I'm just gonna keep going with it. So I'm gonna put this over here for now. Keep it safe. But yeah, that shall be it for this evening, I think. So tomorrow we'll get down to business with some more Danganronpa, investigate Nekomaru's murder, as well as the class trial. So that shall be fun. But that's tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow at 9 o'clock now, because that's what I'm doing. I decided to start streaming a lot earlier, so we're going to stream earlier. 9 o'clock earlier. Yeah. So that'll be it for tonight. I will see you all tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow is what? Sunday? It is Sunday now. So yeah, it's Sunday. And then Monday I'm off. So that'll be fun. But yeah, tomorrow, I will see you all tomorrow. I'll be, yeah. So thank you all for watching. Hope all of you have a good morning, afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever you're going to have. And yeah, until tomorrow, when we join back up with some Danganronpa. I hope all of you manage to stay golden.